Everyone, this is Hagan, Go My Team podcast here with Parker behind the camera. Matt, Ryan are here. So, I think we may have mentioned this on something at some point, but there's been a challenge laid down. Ryan has apparently lost his mind and thinks that he has some shred of ability to do anything left in his body. So, in order to prove that wrong, Go My Team Decathlon, event number 1 today. As you can tell, we're pitching cornhole. Best 2 out of 3, 21 straight up. For those that don't know, cornhole, 1 on the board, 3 in the hole. Points cancel out. Parker's on the camera. There's going to be 9 more events. We'll talk about it more during today's episode. Go My Team podcast, Decathlon. I'm going to win like at least 7 out of 10 events. At least. Feels like you had a rough life selling insurance.
Well, actually, I look like I did really good for them, too. But now I'm retired and on the beach.
A little short.
So that's a rough start.
That's a 2-1 start.
Yeah.
2-0 start.
2-0 after the first one.
2-0. And I'd like to apologize for all the people watching now when Ryan has to turn around and face the camera. So, there we go.
That little zoom in right there.
Wonderful. Dad bod at its best there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just back and forth.
Yeah.
There it was.
There's the ringer.
Get on.
Oh, you got one more? Oh, I thought he was going to cancel out there.
Mm.
So now we're at a 5-0.
Hagan already cheating a little bit, going before Ryan even gets done with his throws, but
walking in the line of sight there. That's old
a
school.
little cheat. How much was that? Was that 3 for Hagan right there?
Yeah. So it's
So 5-0.
Yeah, that's one of them dirtiest player in the game kind of things.
Beat the man, you gotta beat the man, sir.
Pretty bad when you land them in the middle of the board and they just slide off.
Doesn't seem to be having any problem on my side.
There's also your
To be fair, this is also home boards
Home boards,
With-
home field,
and home bags.
So
8-0.
That is 8-0 after the first 3.
and we're going straight up. There is no, like Hagan said, there is no skunk, any of those crazy things. It's just 21 straight up.
There we go.
Oof. Ryan's got a shot.
Uh-oh.
Up. Hagan doing his old tactic.
Uh-oh.
All right, 2 for Ryan.
Regulation size or what?
8-2.
8-2.
8-2. And we are doing best 2 out of 3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
2 out of 3.
Just to
Don't worry about
reaffirm.
it. It's
Just to
fine.
reaffirm it.
Stay off the left side of the board, dummy.
On the right.
Stay off the left side of the board, dummy. You know it's not going to stick over there.
That was better.
Yeah, there we go. Well, wait a minute.
1.
All right.
1.
8-3.
8-3.
8-3.
Don't call him comeback. Don't see it a long time.
You just stole my line. So,
That's right.
so here we go.
Stay off the left side of the board, dummy.
So, evidently, stay off the left side of the board, dummy, is Ryan saying for cornhole. Once we do the golf, Ryan has another saying that he'll say, and it's usually Ryan Brown, and he cusses at himself. So, you get to look forward to that also.
Buddy.
It's 2.
10-3.
10-3.
10-3.
It's all right.
Is it though?
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It took me a long time to have kids. Once I find the hole, I'm good, though.
well,
that mean you're going to hit it once the whole time we're playing?
That's right.
Go ahead.
Well, Ryan's
that looked good.
hole shots are worth 3 anyway, because I mean he's already proven that. So.
Ooh, dang.
You almost blocked yourself on that one.
What the?
Oh, we got
Nothing. 10-3 still.
Nothing's there.
It's a great display of cornhole going on right now.
I just have to say, there are enough weekend warriors that might watch this that are going to be like, I could beat both these jokers.
Oh yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is that
Point is, can we beat each other?
somebody said that they still had the glory, and somebody said that they never lost it, and so here we are. And
Nope.
1.
10-4.
10-4, good buddy. Here we go.
All right. I'm not gonna get pointed to death.
I just want to point out, I think that, Ryan, I know what's wrong with your game. You're not holding 12 ounces in the other hand to, like, counterweight yourself.
That's true.
So,
I
It's about
can't
to
hold
start.
here while I play. I have to hold. That's why I prefer to play doubles, so I have to catch the drink.
Right.
I gotta hold my bags.
that's what she said.
I have to. Ah!
I think Ryan had to start to sweat, which probably as soon as he got out here. But anyway.
Uh-oh. That was
Bravo,
a
Raggy.
that was a great one. Oh.
I mean, we got
12-10 Ron now.
12-10.
Wow.
Mr.
that,
Brown.
that was a quick turn. That was a
That
quick
was a
turnaround.
quick turn.
Don't call it. Come back. Go ahead.
And continues to do
Uh-oh.
it. Hagan had a second guess on that one.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's like,
I was
do
like, that's
wanna
not
hit
the board. As soon as,
but
like-
I gotta hit the board.
Yeah. As soon as I double. Yeah, see, that's what he was trying not to do with that first one.
Oh,
there he
slid
goes.
that and by. That one got
I
by
was
the
like,
goalie.
that one got right by
In the
Ron.
hole.
All right,
So we got one.
13-10.
13-10.
13-10.
There we go. Hydration.
This throw sponsored you by Michelob Ultra, who doesn't pay us anything. Whatever keeps beeping is annoying as shit, baby.
It's that nice
Handy camera.
camera.
Every time I pick you up.
Ryan's at 2. Ryan's at 3. Ryan's at 2.
Ron at 2. 15-10 Ron.
10. $15-2 Ryan, I think.
Try a little closer view. If this is any better.
Uh-oh.
Clogging up the hole.
Now we're throwing. I jinxed it.
Ron got 2.
Ryan got dose.
17-10.
17-10.
I am getting pointed to death.
Hey, make sure and let us know whether you're hashtag Team Hagan or hashtag Team Ryan during this decathlon.
Ryan.
We're going to put a poll up. First Go My Team Ever poll, I think it'll be. And you'll let us know whether you're hashtag Team Hagan, which is also known as Team Loser, or hashtag Team Ryan.
Guys, I'm gonna win this game. Don't worry about it.
It doesn't matter to me who wins because I'm going to dog whoever loses anyway. So you both are equal opportunity doggers here. So
Oh, it's short.
oh, damn.
Another clog.
Oh, damn. He got one.
Oh, you got one?
17-11. Hagan setting one. Rose. Oh,
Oh.
clogging it. Nothing's right now. Ryan will take one.
18-11.
18-11.
That was a big bag that I missed.
Yeah, if you missed the board, one throw. That's it.
Ryan's
Oh.
setting 5.
Ball game.
And in the hole.
Did y'all see how Steph curried that one?
And-
So, first game goes
First
to
game.
Ryan.
Hagan, what's going on? What's your thoughts down there? You're the mouth of the South. What's going on? Why are you so quiet?
I think Hagan just wanted. Hagan's wanting more content, so he's going to make it go 3 games. So
Here's the thing is,
He didn't want to lose the first one though.
here's the thing.
This could be a quick little snippet here,
No, it's not.
because I'm just now getting warmed up.
gotta get a good sweat going. When you're playing cornhole.
You look at Ryan in that shirt, he's been sweating since breakfast.
Well,
Look,
I try not to
Here's
look
the
at Ryan
thing.
in that shirt. That's what I'm trying not to do. So anyway, here we go. Game 2.
Boy, oh boy. This could be quick. This could be quick.
Well, you got nothing. Parker's got nothing.
I got nothing. Ron looked pretty amazing that last 10 right there. So that walk-off Steph Curry shot was pretty fantastic. Okay, I talked too much.
Yeah, you talk too soon. All right, see, there you go. Now you still, Uncle Mo's over on.
It's the beginning of the game.
No, he's still got 1. He's got 4. He's got 1.
1-0.
1-0, Ryan Brown.
1-0. Start of game 2.
Interesting to get 2 in the hole and be down a point, isn't it, Hagan?
I don't know. It's
Is
the
that how that
first
works?
time
I
you
wouldn't
got 2
know.
in the hole in a long time.
I just hit 3.
He literally just hit 3 in the hole.
And walked off.
Go ahead.
As soon as I threw the
He's
last
like, shit, I
bag,
forgot about
turned around and
that.
told Parker, game over, didn't I?
He sure did. I got it on film. We'll go back to the tape later.
Whoops.
Oh. Oh yeah, I see what you tried to do there.
Whoops. Whoops.
Oh, clogged it.
Oh. Oh. I see what you tried to do there.
Well, I got 3.
4-0.
4-0.
4-0.
Rod, he blocked that left side for Hagan, and he almost took advantage of it, but he blocked his own hole.
That's tough
Now
to come
he's
right.
catching the corner of the board and it wraps in.
Sure.
I can't see shit.
That was a beauty.
And
I got 5.
we got a 5 spot.
What is that?
9.
9? 9-0? 9-0.
Oh.
Damn. It's a lot harder work to get these bags out of the hole than it is just pick them off the ground, Hagan. You wouldn't know, but I do.
Snuck
It's
in
tough. You start out with 1 hole. I mean, that's tough. Hagan followed it up though right there. Hanger.
Oh, that one just hung on.
He's got a hanger.
We got a hanger, sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So we got.
That is 12.
Woo, man. Judge, go ahead and just not let him score this game at all.
Well,
Good
you
way
know,
to end this
But-
competition.
Hagan with a little gamesmanship there, throwing the bag over
that
on
bag
the other
right
side.
on the other side. I was zooming in on it, Ron catching it.
Yeah.
First one I've had to pick off the ground in a while.
Yeah, didn't know it was on the ground. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like, hey,
I thought it was in the hole. I mean, that's where most of them have been.
here we go. Uh-oh. Hagan's gone eerily silent. He's like,
I know,
no,
it's-
he's like, I've got to focus, so I'm not going to talk shit anymore. I'm just going to win. Well, then he throws that one off. I'm going to shut up now. Let Hagan do his thing.
He scored.
You got
Yeah.
2. 2.
All right.
Dose.
I can't skunk him. Can't do a 21-0.
Dose.
You throw better,
What
but
is
you
it,
can't
12?
see down on the end where the sun's shining in your eyes.
Was it 12-2?
12-2.
Easy.
Oh,
Ooh, knocked his own off. Ryan picking up a 1.
a 1.
1. 13-2. I kind of want to do like this view, but I don't know if that would work or not.
I'm just saying, if there was an audience here, they'd be either eerily quiet because they'd be cheering for you, or the place would be going nuts because of
Ryan got that hook going.
He's
on
got
there.
it,
Watch,
yeah.
watch it hits there, and then he'll just.
Yep, he's got it. He's.
Ryan's got that hook.
Oh, I thought he went for 3 in a row though. And
Down to 5.
back to 6.
Back to 5.
Back to 5.
18.
18-2.
18-2.
Oh, look at that sportsmanship.
The end of this match brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
And again, still silence from Hagan.
Hagan is focused and ready to not lose this game.
Oh,
Oh, see, he's got it in Ryan's head there. If he can get the board first. There he goes. He's in the board first. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
See, Hagan's dialed in. Ryan's got it back.
Ryan's got it.
3.
Oh, that double clutch. Oh, that was almost perfect.
Did he go in? No.
No.
So
He can get 4.
got 4 out of that.
Yep. 18-6.
Yes, sir. 18-6. Ah.
Ooh.
Hagan put the blocker up on Ryan's little fast lane to the hole there.
Can't see.
Well, now you're both in the sun, so you both have the same disadvantage.
That's the.
There we go. So we're at 3. We're at 2. Oh, hanging.
2 Hagan.
Yep.
18-8.
18-8. Yep.
8. So Hagan's trying to do what
Yeah.
Ryan did,
Yeah.
pointing
He's
to
got
death
a-
right here.
Larger deficit to come back from, but doing pretty well.
Two. 1. Nothing.
Nah. That's what we were trying to do right there.
1. Oh,
Oh, I think that knocked one of Hagan's off in the back.
It did there.
We're going to get a score from down there. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I got one.
Ryan got 1.
Ryan got 1. 19-8. Oh,
Ooh,
that was a bad.
That was
bounce.
right at the front of the.
That was a bad.
That was
bounce.
right at the front of the hole.
1 for Ryan. 2 for Ryan.
Damn it.
That's
2.
great.
That's a
ball
game.
21-8.
To 8.
2-0
2-0.
on the series, and that would do it for the series. And let's get a word with the participants here. Let's start with the winner here, Ryan Brown. Ryan?
As one of my favorite wrestling factions once said, we are the nation of domination. Went about like I expected. No real threat ever. I let him get ahead because I hadn't thrown in a while, but once I got into the groove, it was par for the course for me to just go on from there. So I'll let you talk to Hagan. He's probably got a lot to say. He was really quiet during the game.
He hasn't said a word.
Jim McKay spot here where he goes and talks to the guys in the locker room that aren't out there smoking cigars and posting trophies. So Hagan, what happened, buddy?
As I mentioned before we started, I'll probably win 7 out of 10 events. And this is probably one that I thought I'd win. The rest of the events, there's a swim, which he has no chance. I mean, look at him. There's no way he's even buoyant. Then there's 40-yard dash, which, again, and golf. We'll be really close on that. Honest to God, we'll be really 18
We will be
holes,
close on that.
18 holes, we will be dead down to the
both
last
bad.
hole.
We're both bad.
Softball home run derby and a game of horse. Punt, pass, kick, and the Wonderlick for the draft prep. And then bar games. It's poker, and did we say pool or darts?
Heads up poker and pool, I think.
Heads up poker and pool.
Yeah.
All right, so plenty of time. I thought I would have won this event. I obviously started off strong.
Is it the start that you wanted? Is it the start that you
Hey,
expected to
don't
the
touch me.
decathlon?
Get away. Look, no, it's not the start I expected or the start I wanted, but it's really not that big a deal.
My second question is, are you going to throw a hissy fit every time that you get beat? Because if that's the case, like, we're going to break stuff because you're going to get beat a lot.
It has to happen again because that's going to be the running thing.
I
expect
I won't throw a hissy fit because I'm not going to lose. Again. So,
that was a good answer.
all right, that's it.
Cut it there.
All right, signing off from Hagan's side yard here. This is Go My Team podcast. Event number 1 in the books. Ryan Brown's your winner. And
Get used to hearing that.
agony of defeat over there putting up the boards. All right.
Already
We'll talk to you guys
packing it
later.
up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 23 of the Go My Team podcast. Hagan here with Matt, Ryan, and Parker. We just started the Go My Team decathlon. Shitty result on the first event. 9 more to go, so it'll be 9-1 at the end. That'll be good. We're drinking bourbon as always. We have some Heaven Hill something. What the hell's that called?
Heaven Hill Quality House Old Style Bourbon.
Yeah, it is. And it's like $25 a bottle, so we'll tell you what we think about that. As always, front and center, Broken Barrel whiskey, small batch sitting there. Shout out to Seth and his whole team. We love Broken Barrel here on the show. We're talking fantasy football and RASSLA, and that's wrestling. Let's go. Matt, football is upon us. We've had the Hall of Fame game. I hope it's not a bad omen, a little bit of a lightning delay. But they got it in. The
Didn't that
Jaguars.
happen last year there too? Or no, they didn't. One year they didn't even have it, right? They were gonna have it.
There was one
There's
year
the Hall
that
of
it
Fame
just
game.
completely washed out the whole game.
I think Green Bay was
Green
playing.
Bay, yeah, it was Brett Favre's year of the Hall of Fame.
Huh. Well,
So it's not the first time it's ever happened, even at the Hall of Fame game.
well, that's what he gets for that year with the Vikings. So
No, the Jets year was bad.
the Jets, was that worse? Which
No,
was
the
worse?
Jets year was
I
bad.
feel like, hang on. Let's go. Are you a Packers fan as well?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go the Packers fans in the room. The Jets year on the field was certainly worse, but seeing him in purple had to be worse than seeing him in green. No?
I had mixed feelings because I've been a Packers fan since Mikowski, and Parker got me a jersey signed by him. But so it was before Brett Favre. So I'm a Packers fan, but Brett Favre, was I'll say he was a great Packer. He was my hero. So seeing him in purple hurt. But yet I understood that his disagreement with management and they couldn't work something out. And that's on the Packers for not doing it. And for him to show him, like, look, you could have still had me. I was kind of cheering for him in a way. Didn't cheer for the Vikings, but I cheered for him.
And they almost had a deja vu moment with Aaron Rodgers.
It's
a few
it's
years ago.
exactly what I was about
Yeah.
to say. Green Bay Parker struggles with quarterback transitions. Can we agree on that?
Absolutely. That's 100% true. But I was the whole Brett Favre situation, and I thought it was going to happen with Rodgers for the longest time. There was rumors of him going to the Bears, and I was like, he's my favorite quarterback ever. I don't care where the man goes, I'll still cheer for him no matter what, even if it was the Bears that he went to.
Even in Chicago.
Even in Chicago. That's just in Green Bay we get so attached to quarterbacks. I know a lot of fans that just like as soon as they leave they hate them.
So you're going to be getting attached to Jordan Love here for
Yes.
Yeah, the Jordan Love will be.
I mean, if he's
as strong as
he's
Aaron
good,
Rodgers.
He's not.
but he's not.
He's not.
There's a chance he does have a guy.
Hopefully something, happens in the workings there. We get a trade or we get another pick.
You think that first round investment draft pick will work out for you guys on that one? You think
I will say
you think
this.
when you trade him, you'll get that back?
I don't know if Aaron Rodgers has one more year in Green Bay or multiple, but next year's quarterback draft looks promising.
It does.
Several big
That's true.
arms in that draft. I'm not ever good at picking which one at the top. You'd rather. Tua Tagovailoa was to me as solid of a prospect as you can get, and it's fallen on its face at Miami. So now when you look at Bryce Young, you think, was it Alabama or is it him? He certainly looks like a live arm, but how does that work out?
Jalen Hurts too. The jury's still out on him too. To me, he's an Alabama quarterback, even though he went and played 1 year at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He's an Alabama quarterback to me. So jury's still out on him too.
Yeah, definitely so.
Right now, though, probably the Alabama quarterback with the Jalen Hurts got good upside, but I mean, Mac Jones made it to the playoffs his rookie year.
That's what I was
So
about to say. That rookie year was pretty good for him. So
It's
he's
solid.
got
It's
a good
solid,
lot of upside.
Which is pretty amazing considering he looks like Ryan with the shirt off.
that's right. Actually, he's changed his body in the offseason. If you haven't seen it, he's really
I
toned
haven't.
up.
Did he get on that Chris Jericho diet?
No, I think he just toned up. So
Started a little beat.
I think he actually found the weight room.
Doesn't look like Billy Gunn, does he?
No. We talked about the Billy Gunn diet and his supplements and all that.
I just wish he'd hit me up. Anyway, so fantasy football is upon us. The four of us are in a league, coincidentally in the same division in that league. It's pretty deep. There are 3 10-team divisions that operate as far as player pool independent of each other. So the same player would be drafted in theory 3 times, across the 3 divisions. But Matt and Parker co-own a team, which Parker will be doing the drafting for because Matt will be out of town. Ryan has a team and I have a team, and I'm in a situation. So I will be out of town for the draft as well for something that I can't miss. This is my first year in this league, and just about every friend I have that I would trust to draft for me is in my division, which means I don't trust them at all.
I told you I'd draft for you.
I understand you would. So I'm in a situation here. Matt, here's the problem. I'm going to be in Gatlinburg. Cell phone service for anybody who's ever been to the Smoky Mountains knows cell phone service down there, spotty at best.
At best.
I'm going to be at the Rocky Top Sports Complex. My daughter has a soccer tournament down there. Super nice complex. I'm going to assume there is service there. The problem is going to be the draft starts as the game ends, which means I'm going to be the only one that wants to sit at the complex for another hour so I can draft. So more than likely, I'm going to be getting in the car and going to dinner as the draft is going on. Is there a worse situation? Spotty cell service. I'm going to be that guy that's at dinner with, several other couples after, the soccer family's all out to dinner, teams eating dinner, and I am 100% focused on my phone. Is there any more that guy in that situation than that?
This is a special situation because this league isn't just your normal.
It's not
your normal fantasy football. Hey, let me get a bunch of guys together. This is a league that's ran for a long time. Recently expanded to include certain people, so it's kind of a rare opportunity to do
I
it.
waited
let's
for
talk
a
about that
full
for a
year.
minute. Let's talk about that for a second because this keeper league started as a 10-team keeper league, and in 1 year went to 30 man and had a waiting list.
Yes.
I was going to say, it's been 30, but I don't know for how long. Obviously, I wasn't around all those years. But I waited a full season, and they borrowed and stealed on a list to even get in.
30 for 2 years.
30
This will
for
be
2
the
years.
third year of the 30. But and on top of that, though, you win money. This isn't just like bragging rights, which bragging rights over this group is great. But money always talks. So, you know,
and a big championship
and a
belt.
big championship belt. So, yeah, this is you're in a tough spot.
I am in a tough spot.
You know?
Parker, I go to you. Now you guys in the co-owner situation,
Yeah.
you and Matt. Matt's out of town. You're there. Matt
Yeah.
has all the confidence in the world in you to draft. You guys are going to have, I'm sure, conversations before he goes. But
Yeah.
you guys have this under control. My situation seems grim.
Right. It just seems like you're gonna have to pull something out of your ass, to be honest with you. I like you're gonna have to find someone, because I'm not sure if you're gonna have any cell service even coming back, or even get people to stay for another hour to even do the draft.
Listen, I don't
That's
think
gonna-
staying at the field. Here's
Yeah.
can I just
That's gonna be rough.
can I go over the options
Well,
that I've considered?
I'll throw
Yeah.
this out there because I don't think it'd be any worse than Sanford
Henry.
Henry coming back from Bowling Green
On the National.
talking on his phone
Yeah.
all the way back until he got there, and it was late round when he got
He
there.
maybe made 3 picks live.
So it can't be, and he was texting people, "This is my pick," because he would lose. The voice
On the
And
National.
where we're gonna be drafting at does not have
Does not
great
have-
cell phone
Okay.
signal
Does not.
either.
So I talked to Diesel about that. Shout out to Diesel, the
Hopefully we're gonna have him on one day.
league commissioner. But it's to my understanding Diesel has his place under control. I think he's done some
Okay.
stuff with boosters and
Okay.
and so I think his place is not the issue here.
Okay.
It's this is all on me. Let me tell you guys what I've considered. Okay, and you just tell me how outlandish and stupid this is. Now keep in mind, this is a weekend with the family. My daughter's going to play soccer. Big year for her, first year playing on the JV team. Big year. We're gonna be playing some big schools out of Tennessee. It's honestly, that should be the focus.
Should be.
It should be. Here's the thing: is I have considered. Okay, we leave the field. We had to because we're going to go to dinner. I'm sure the team. There's going to be a team dinner after. So we leave the field. We go to dinner. I'm in the truck, and then I'm at the table doing this draft. Okay, that's one option. Another option I've considered is: do I stay at the field where I know if I have good cell phone service? Do I stay there
And Uber.
and Uber to dinner? And just sit there and not know a soul on earth in Gatlinburg, Texas, or Gatlinburg, Tennessee, at the sports complex. Just sit there in the bleachers and draft, and then get an Uber to dinner. Is that all-time degenerate move right there?
It's not good.
Honestly, that's the first one that came to my brain. I was like, okay, if he knows he has cell phone signal at Rocky Top, if he's really wanting to draft this himself and not involve anybody else,
Yeah.
you can always Uber to dinner after you get done.
So is the complex in Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge?
I actually don't know.
So
Let me look that
my
up.
whole thing was you can
I got
always
it.
check your signal.
I'm
on
going to
the
know.
way
Okay,
there, so you'll
let me
know.
say this. Let me say this. I'm going to know. We have a game earlier that day.
So
We have like a 12:40 game. I'm going to know before the draft what
if you
the
could
cell
talk
phone
on the way back
service.
and forth.
Yeah. What?
Okay.
In Gatlinburg.
It's in Gatlinburg. You're fucked. So I mean, Pigeon Forge, you had a chance,
I was
but
Either way,
Gatlinburg,
signal's not good.
Do you not think there's signal at the complex?
there'd almost have to be signal because with the way that everybody uses Huddle now to record games, and if it's going to be high school kind of games, then they're going to film it, and they want to upload as soon as they can. At least we know that from basketball.
Well, I was going to say that because using Huddle, you don't have to have service at the field, but like say if they're at a hotel later, you can just use that
Right.
Oh boy. No, it's so the address is Gatlinburg, but it's not Gatlinburg. It's deep
Like
Gatlinburg.
So we're like
It's
past
in the
Gatlinburg.
mountains.
Yes,
It is in the mountains.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They must, unless
I
have
would
like
say there
special
is
cell
a-
tower.
I would say there's a 65% chance they have internet or Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Is there someone else in like the other
Yes.
20 people
Yes.
that you trust? Maybe give them names. who
Heath,
you wanna-
Heath has already
Okay,
said.
so
he's
here's-
ready.
here's
I said
another
Heath
option.
has said he will.
Heath is the one guy that's not in the division that will be at the draft that I could give names to.
That's what I would do.
Agree.
Yeah,
Heath
that is
won
a-
this the first year that went to 30 people. He knows what he's doing.
That is a fail safe, and it would almost be, if you're on and you lose signal, then they know to go to Heath and make the pick.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is I think what I'd use is I say, Heath, look, here's what I want.
Here's names. Yeah.
Here's names. And
If it gets below 15 seconds left on the timer,
Yeah,
we
it
assume
did-
that you
yeah,
lose
don't let
connection and
me-
Heath makes the pick.
yeah. I think I have something like that in place. I'm more interested in setting at dinner, the appetizers hit the table, and I'm looking at my RB3.
I'm saying
That's what I would do.
I'm
If I had
saying
any signal at all, I'd be drafting.
Well, I'm saying if you go to a place that has a bar, like a separate bar,
Sure.
go befriend the bartender. Tell him what you're doing, her what you're doing. She might give you the password to the Wi-Fi in the building and be like, tell him what, and the whole story.
I can order a couple of drinks and get the Wi-Fi password. That's actually a good call.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though, when I tell you it's the moment the draft or the game ends, this is going to include driving from Rocky Top to wherever we eat.
Okay.
Reception's going to be spotty at best.
Yes.
Spotty at best in those mountains.
Yeah. I driving through. Are you staying in Gatlinburg? Or are you staying in?
We're
Pigeon
staying
Forge?
on the river in Gatlinburg. It's one of the hotels.
It's one on the little creek there.
Yes.
On the
I know which one
yeah.
you're talking about. I know which one you're talking
Hang on.
You're
it's
dig- you're
Gray
digging- you're digging
something.
Gray Wolf Lodge.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. about. They probably have great reception.
I understand if I skip the game,
Not the game.
there's
you could,
another
like,
there's
you hit
another player.
Cleveland.
There's another player in the fantasy league that will be in Gatlinburg as well, and he's turned his draft over to his brother.
It's Tracy.
Tracy will
Oh,
be
yeah.
Tracy will be in Gatlinburg as well, and he's just like, I've got
So
Cadman.
Cadman's drafting for two teams in the
teams.
same division.
Oh, that sucks.
I know it.
Sucks to be him. It's going to be a lot of pregame stuff of finding out what signal you got, what you don't have, and then how shitty it is on the way back and how shitty it is on the way there. And
I'm
then
gonna be so wrapped up in
the
this
bartender
Saturday.
is going to be your best friend. I'm telling you now.
Well, that's happened my whole, for
Order
several
that
years.
first drink, make that first tip a big one, and say, "Hey, look, this is what I've got going on.
I could
And
really use some help.
I really
help.
could use help. You could be a lifesaver right now." And I'm sure they would be.
I'm
good.
sure
I think I can make that happen. All right, look,
Let's get into this a little
we're
bit
gonna
because
bourbon.
There's already been a trade in this.
We're
division, too,
yeah,
that
no,
we
we're
gotta
gonna get into
Okay.
we're gonna get into fantasy. We're gonna talk the league, which you guys are gonna hear a lot about going through the fall. We're gonna talk love hate. We'll use to steal a Matthew Berry segment. We'll talk some love hate, kind of at the different positions of guys we really like, guys we wouldn't dare touch. But we'll do our first bourbon break here. We kind of lost this segment last episode when Seth was on. The entire episode was a whiskey episode. So,
And if you
Hagan-
haven't seen it yet, check it out.
yeah, shout out Broken Barrel Whiskey, Seth, and his whole team. Appreciate him coming on the show. Heaven Hill is a quality house
Old style.
old style bourbon. It's
Yep.
an 80 proof. So as we mentioned on previous episodes, here we'll cheers.
Yeah.
We'll get that out of the way.
Cheers. Oh, wait, watch out.
Yeah.
Oh, that was better.
So as we mentioned on previous episodes, there are some gems in our opinion to be found on the bottom shelf. This is one of them. That's the screw top bottle. That bottle was not over $25. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it was not more than $25. It's a very cheap bourbon, and it's it's a good one in my opinion. It's only 80 proof. If it was any higher proof, it wouldn't be $25.
Right.
So Matt, we're going to start with you down on that end. Just as a recap, you gave Weller Special Reserve, or WSR as it's known, a 7.7. Green River a 6.0. E.H. Taylor Small Batch a 8.0. Jefferson Reserve Twin Oak Custom Barrel 7.8. Yellowstone, you weren't here for. Castle and Key 6.3. Calumet 10-year 5.2.
So I was just reading on here. This is a charcoal filter, which kind of reminds you of a Jack Daniels,
Right.
In a way. But
Definitely has that. It's a lot of smoke to me.
yeah. It's really smooth for, I'm not a fan of the finish. The ice cube definitely helps the finish for me.
Really helped it.
It helped for me. It did. It took away.
I thought it was all going to fall apart on the rocks.
Well, it took away that, I don't know what it was. It was like this bit of, yeah, we've talked about that before. It's this.
I didn't put any damn
Yeah,
leather.
there's no damn leather in there. It was a bitterness that I wasn't a fan of, but it's not bad. I'm gonna definitely say it's better than a couple
Here
of
it
them that we
comes.
drank.
What's better than Green River?
Well, I mean, I already put I put, what was it, above Green River at 6.3.
Castle and Key.
Castle and Key. I think this is better than Castle and Key.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go 6.4 on this one.
Right.
Yes.
I won't go back all through all your scores. Castle and Key was a 6.61. Yellowstone was a 7.3. That's kind of Yellowstone's sort of its comp. So we'll stop there.
Flavor up front's really nice, but it does kind of fall apart. It fell apart on the rocks and neat and on the rocks for me. I didn't get the bitterness on the end, but that everybody's palate's different, so I'm not gonna say it wasn't there. I just didn't taste it. Like, I didn't really taste anything on the end, but it's smooth. It would make a really good mixture if you want to make mixed drinks like
Exactly.
a bourbon and Coke or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's perfectly fine. I'm gonna give this a 6.63.
Parker.
Nice.
Well, this is
His 3-digit scores are starting to kill me. So
I
ridiculous.
just want to have a what the fuck moment. I'm sorry, I just had to have that
You
right
know what
there.
I mean?
So, all right, go ahead, Parker.
well, I've been drinking this with Coke, so I've actually liked this a lot. I tried it first. It was smooth. I liked it.
Smooth.
But I'm gonna give this a 7.1.
7.1.
I thought about it for a second.
I'm
So
gonna.
no, I need to risk it.
If you don't know what it is, go back and watch that episode.
I won the first 2 episodes.
All right, so I'm gonna go a 7.0 just because it's a little better than Yellowstone, which I think I had a 6.9. So I'm gonna go 7.0. I'm gonna say this again, and I've said it on previous episodes. Stop buying Makers and Knob Creek and stuff like that if you're gonna make whiskey and cokes.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm telling you, we will give you a dozen bourbons if you'll listen to this show. If you're gonna mix whiskey and coke, we will help you out. You're wasting your money. I'm not saying stop buying it if that's what you like. If that's what you like and you're bound and determined to spend $45 to put your whiskey with coke, have at it. But I'm telling you, if you're gonna put coke in it, and if that's how you enjoy your bourbon,
We're not
have
judging
at it.
anybody.
I can't do it because it makes the hangover worse. For me, all that sugar is terrible. But this, Very Old Barton, Mellow Corn, things like that are significantly cheaper than the bourbon you're buying because you think you need to, with Coke will make no difference.
Even the Jim Beam red label, or whatever it is,
White label.
there you go. Jim Beam white label.
Yeah, or
'cause
certainly the black.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still cheaper than Makers and Knob from the same distillery, and you're going to put it with Coke, and you're never going to know the difference. I
could
promise
not
you won't know the
yeah.
difference. So that's kind of why we picked this one. When we got in my cabinet, we looked at, some other stuff that's down there, whatever. But this is why we do bourbon. There's some gems out there that people don't know about, and they're spending $45 to make whiskey and cokes, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So there it is. Heaven Hill Quality House Old Style Bourbon. Screw top, $25. On a find it readily available on your local bottom shelf.
At the bottom shelf.
Yeah, it's fine.
And yeah, and trust me, we're not talking bad about this. For $25, this is perfectly fine. It's not. We're sitting here drinking it on ice. It's not bad. If it was bad, we wouldn't be able to drink it with
guys.
nothing with
Who
it.
we make fun of is the person that walks out of a liquor store with a 2-liter of Coke and a $45 bottle of Makers.
Yeah,
that's the guy I make fun of.
Well, I'll say this: there are 4 of us here. I can say all 4 of us aren't bourbon snobs. I mean, as in, we have to have the top shelf stuff.
No.
But I will say this too about I've been on several tours, and I'm sure everybody here has. Well, maybe not Parker. But
I haven't either. I've actually
don't-
never toured a distillery.
Really?
you should do it, man. It's really fun.
I need some friends to go with me.
We'll talk about
Yeah,
this.
we'll
We'll talk about this.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Sure.
this after we get off.
But the quality of your cocktail also means quality of your whiskey too. So if you want a higher quality Coke and whatever, then you add that other stuff if that's what you want to do, like you said. But man, why if you really want to taste what the people want to do with what they try to get out of their product, then you don't mix it with stuff. But like the guy said at several tours, and it was the Jim Beam one that I remember, and the Makers one. They were like, if you want a higher quality cocktail, you use higher quality ingredients. And I agree with that in a way. If you want to mix it with Coke Zero, Sprite, Mountain Dew,
It's about
whatever.
when it gets cold. I am a big hot toddy guy.
Yep.
Love a hot toddy. I work outside. I choose to enjoy what I do. Love it. But at the end of the day, when I come home and it's bitter cold outside and I'm just frozen to the core, nothing is better than a hot shower and a hot toddy. I love hot toddies. I will not buy anything more expensive than the bottle that's sitting right over there to make my hot toddies with. I promise when I put boiling water, lemon, brown sugar, and honey with it, it will not make a difference. There's just too much going on there. There's too many other flavors.
Yeah,
It's
it's just a taste preference. I mean, but if you're trying to save a little money, and times are right now, you want to save a little money.
Yeah,
This
if
is
you
a
have
winner
to
right
drive anywhere,
Yeah.
then that's a good whiskey.
That's a good whiskey.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Matt and I really enjoy mellow corn. Like, people give us a hard time, but we both like mellow corn.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good, and it's really good mixed with stuff. That cocktail we had we had a whiskey sour with it, and then
We also had it. First, we had it neat,
neat,
and then we had a whiskey sour.
and the bartender thought we was nuts. and then we had a whiskey sour with it, and it was excellent. So,
Mellow corn neat, that'll be $1.25.
Listen, and when I say we ordered mellow corn neat, like, we were at a very nice hotel bar when we ordered mellow corn neat. This guy's going, "What the hell are these people doing here?"
Excuse me, sir. I'd like to see your room card before I stay here.
yes, that's really what I was thinking.
All right, so getting back to football. So fantasy football time. Guys, I'll tell you, this is an area where I will take a back seat for once, maybe in the history of the show. I have played a league with 7 of my buddies from Alaska and thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a free league. I think it's going on year. Well, it's got to be almost 10 at this point.
I think you told me 10.
Because I've been gone from there that long. So it's going on about year 10, but it's free. It's always been free. It's a way for us to stay in touch with each other. It's been great.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
if
it's
you're listening to this and I'm not going to tell you how much we pay to play in our league, but it's not cheap. So
yeah, but here's the thing: is this has been a different thing. That league is a full roster keeper, so you keep your starting lineup every year. So I had Aaron Rodgers as my franchise quarterback for like 6-7 years. And so you keep a full starting lineup, and because of that, you only redraft your bench. I didn't have to keep into fantasy football the way you guys have had to in the other league, because worst comes to worst, I just have a bad bench. I've won multiple championships in my other league without a ton of effort, just because of the way the league is structured. This league, you guys see NFL football and players in it at a different value than I do because I've not looked at a purely fantasy value for years, a decade plus, right? So the value in someone who's been traded, I know we're going to talk about Devontae Adams, Baker Mayfield, guys like that. I look at it as how it affects the spread and what that number looks like and the betting of it. And we're going to talk a lot about that this fall because I'm going to hammer some NFL lines. But fantasy is a different thing. It is a different way to look at the game. People have value in different ways. Points when your team's down 21 in the fourth quarter count the same as when your team is in a close game or ahead, right? So, so Matt, we'll start with you, and we'll start where I think the NFL talk always starts at quarterback. Give me a couple names you love and a couple names you want to stay away from completely at quarterback.
The first one that comes to my mind, quarterback, is Josh Allen. That I love. Then you got one. He without one of his weapons this year, but he's still probably going to be up there. Will be Mahomes. Losing Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins.
Yeah, they did add a few people to kind of replace him. Of course, you can't replace a Tyreek.
It's hard to replace somebody like that.
Did they add some guys that can replace them? Or did they just add some guys?
It's like in together. It's like Juju Smith-Schuster. He's good, and Valdez Scantling played for Packers.
True.
Who had like moments of greatness when he played. Of course, he had Rodgers throwing the ball.
If you had a choice to say, you can have Tyreek Hill, or you can have 3 dudes that are okay.
That's not the decision.
Okay dudes are.
But that's not the decision they made. And let me butt in here real quick on the Mahomes talk. And this goes for, I don't care if you're talking about fantasy, I don't care if you're talking about betting games or just NFL rostered structure. Okay. The NFL is structured so that teams strike gold with rookie quarterback contracts, right? I don't care if you're talking about Seattle. If you're wondering why the Legion of Boom fell apart, it's because they had to pay Russell Wilson.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, Pete Carroll couldn't pay, 5 Pro Bowlers to play the secondary and the linebacker positions, right? So that's just how it works. When Russell Wilson was on a rookie contract, then you can pay all those other guys, and you can and your window starts there.
Yep.
Which is why when drafting a quarterback, it is so vitally important that they succeed from day one because the window on them is closing. They're either going to fail or get paid. Either way, you're going to start over.
Yes, right.
So what happened in Kansas City is not, and I understand what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
From a fantasy standpoint, would you rather have Tyreek Hill or 3 dudes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd rather have Tyreek Hill. But the way the Chiefs were looking at it was not Tyreek Hill versus 3 dudes. It was, we got to pay Patrick Mahomes. I mean, some of these toys, right.
Yeah.
Now we have to cut the checks to pay Patrick Mahomes. Some of these toys have to go away.
Yeah.
You cannot have 3 of everything if you got to pay your quarterback.
I agree.
And
they also have the highest paid tight end too. So,
right. And that's what made the Brady run so unique and why we will never see it again in the history of the NFL. And I'm not a big Brady guy, but I'm talking numbers here, not fandom.
Yeah.
The reason the Brady run in New England specifically was so unique was he consistently never took the max contract.
Because he makes more money off the field than he does on the field.
And his wife makes more money than him, period. Yeah. So it's a different – it was a different thing in New England where they still arguably never had the roster around him that Russell Wilson had in Seattle, right? But once that rookie deal comes to an end, NFL teams are forced to make decisions. And you see moves that you're like, well, why would they get rid of that guy? Now, you also see moves like my Titans did where we pay a quarterback that's not worth what they paid him and still lose the wide receiver. That's called piss poor management. But
my Ravens gave Joe Flacco $100 million. So
we'll go back to you, Matt. Mahomes and Allen, I don't think are quarterbacks that would surprise anybody on your love list.
No.
Who are guys that would standout
Who you
arm
scared
you
of?
Yeah.
Who's a highly rated quarterback coming in that you're scared of that you don't believe the hype in?
Well, I don't think Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson's got a lot of question marks around him right now going to the Broncos. So is he going to perform? Does he have anybody to throw it to? You know, I mean, it's like it's going to be one of those things that
Worst
you know,
weather he's ever played in.
yeah, well, you know, Seattle a lot of rain, but it's going to snow. It will be cold. There will
I've
be
been to
high
Seattle
winds.
and Denver, and I'm going to tell you right now, Denver is much more extreme weather than Seattle.
I mean, I've been to Denver only during the summer though.
Yeah.
So it
Russell
doesn't count.
Wilson, basically the QB consensus 8 somewhere in that area right now.
So,
And who's
I mean, he'd be
give
my-
me the consensus 12, for example.
Matthew Stafford.
and then now Stafford's
don't know
got
if
questions
there's-
with his elbow. So now you're
Dak is 11.
Dak's
I don't
11.
know that there is. Well, Dak's, but never mind. Go
There's
ahead.
no. Hey, well,
Yeah.
I won't even say that. There's no way I'd get Prescott. So anyway.
Okay, so are your two hates then
I mean,
Russell
I'm just
Wilson
saying
and
that,
Dak?
that I've never been. He's never really done that well at fantasy football. I really don't think he's ever been a major numbers producer. Prescott has maybe like 1 year, and that was that breakout year that then he got paid, and then since then it's been nothing.
Tough
Let
to
me throw this out then. Dak or Kirk Cousins? You have to take one.
I have to take one.
Yep.
For fantasy or
Yep.
just as I'm
No,
as my team.
fantasy football.
I'll take the one that has Justin Jefferson. Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah, I'll take the one that has Justin Jefferson versus the one that just lost his top wide receiver,
So, oh yeah, he lost. Who did he lose?
Amari.
Oh yeah, that's right, he lost Cooper.
But he still got CD Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb is still there. No, yeah, I'm not saying he's throwing the ball to me, but he doesn't have Justin Jefferson.
I would probably pick if I had to pick between two, it's Prescott.
Okay. He's the higher rated one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
Kirk Cousins.
I think it goes to
Kirk
show with
Cousins
how
like
much.
15.
But I think it goes to show with how much time it took you to make that decision that that's the range you see Dak in.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
And they're only like 2 or 3 spots away
Yeah.
from each other consensus wise.
it's one of those things that you just go fuck.
Yeah.
Right, this guy. So.
I will take the one that because here's the difference to me in those two guys. Kirk Cousins could complete a 4-yard pass and Jefferson take it to the house.
Mhm.
I don't know that CeeDee Lamb is a talented wide receiver. He is not Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only reason I don't see those quarterbacks as difference. I see Justin Jefferson's ability to turn, chicken salad into chicken shit or
Other way around. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And make a play as the difference in Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott.
You also have to look. I mean, there's a lot of factors in there. Though, when you go talent-wise, yes, but then you got to look at their O-line, who's going to protect him long enough to get those things off, and
Or if they're mobile enough to
if they're
escape
mobile
a
enough
bad.
to escape them.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins runs like a batting cage. That's for sure.
And I don't know much about their O-line, but I know Dallas always has a brick wall. So, and that's why Zeke and Dak,
I
do
can't
shine.
wait to talk running backs, and we'll come back to Dallas.
So.
Ryan, we'll go to you. So is it
Yeah.
fair to say your hates Russell Wilson and Dak?
Russell Wilson, yeah, I would say Russell Wilson. I won't say hate. I'll just say that they're my question. There would be my biggest question marks, as in who to draft.
If Parker goes to the draft and you end up with Russell Wilson as your quarterback.
Well, we had Russell Wilson last year, but I'm talking about him going to a new team, so that's what makes me kind of like. fall off
I'm
that
not
last
like
year.
too worried about it because Peyton Manning fit really well. Because Peyton Manning's like a one of a kind.
Right. He
quarterback.
was also calling his own plays.
And that's also true as well. But you were like worried him not throwing anybody, but they have a couple really good young wide receivers like Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton that's there. So he's got weapons to throw to, and also 2 really good running backs as well.
And KJ Hamler.
Yeah.
Everybody tends
And
to forget
Tim
about
Patrick,
dude.
who's like
So,
I'm just worried that he might. It's one of those expectation kind of things, and I'm wondering if he's
You're
going to
just
go in
talking
there.
about ADP, average draft position.
Yeah.
It's cost versus,
Right.
it's risk versus cost there.
I don't know
do
that
you
Matt
take Russell
Stafford's
Wilson?
elbow worries me more than Russell Wilson with a new team. That's why I asked for 12, and you said it's Matt Stafford. Give me Stafford as in the same breath as Wilson. That's all I'm
I'll
saying.
agree with you for now until they figure out what this abnormal pain is in his elbow. So, Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Ryan, two you love, two you hate. If you could try not to repeat something for the sake of the show, I'd appreciate it.
I'll start with my hates first. I am out on Kyler Murray.
Despite his rushing ability.
Yeah, his average draft position's in the 6th round right now.
And that's, wait, I'm sorry to interrupt you 1 second. When we say hate, what we mean is hate where we get them in the draft.
Yeah.
That's why I brought up the Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford thing. If I can have Matt Stafford 2 rounds later than Russell Wilson, I don't feel like I've dropped off a lot of quarterback, and I managed to grab 2 other position players in that round. So what we're talking about hate is what we mean is where we can get them in the draft versus where we can get someone that we feel is comparable.
Yeah.
So
he's going in the middle of the 6th right now. DeAndre Hopkins is out the first 6 games. There's really nobody behind James Conner, so if he gets hurt, does he have anybody that can run the ball behind him? Marquise Hollywood Brown, who was just traded there, has been dealing with a hamstring, and he just got arrested for driving 128 miles an hour on a 65. So,
which is really nice that close to Vegas after we just had a wide receiver die.
Yeah, so he could be in some trouble there too. So it's the weapons aren't great. I'm not sold on Cliff Kingsbury with running the spread and offense there. So he's my hate in the 6th. He's going, like I said, middle of the 6th round. Another
Cliff Kingsbury is going to do so good when he's the coach in Oklahoma in a few years. Anyway, go ahead.
My other hate is Joe Burrow. He's going about the same place that Kyler Murray is.
A lot of weapons in Cincinnati.
There are.
Can we agree? Now, when we go back to what I was talking about earlier with the rookie quarterback contract, Burrow's still on his.
Yep.
Which is why they have 4 of everything in Cincinnati right now. They won't when they pay him all the fortune of Northern Kentucky here in a few years. But really, Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I think I was reading an article a couple of weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure that 35% of Joe Burrow's fantasy scoring came in 3 games.
Let me ask you this. If you hate Joe Burrow, based on his ADP, who is the guy 2 rounds later that you want? Maybe this person might be on your love list. Who's the guy that you pass on Burrow and you get this guy 2 rounds later and you're like, I'm fine?
2 rounds later?
Well, whatever. Next round, the guy that you end up with when you could have drafted Burrow at his ADP. You pass on him and you get X.
I'd rather have Jalen Hurts going in the 7th round.
Wow. Okay, so that's what I talk about love.
Yeah.
I don't mean love.
He is my love.
Okay. So you would rather have Jalen Hurts in the 7th than Joe Burrow in the 6th.
Yeah.
Okay, and what that means is maybe your RB3 before your quarterback 1.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, I don't just mean your structure. I mean, what you take there instead of Burrow, is your RB3.
Or even one of the top tier tight ends or something. One of the top.
Yeah, you go get Kelsey or whatever.
Mark Andrews or somebody like that.
And then you end up with
Jalen Hurts.
Instead of Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think the rushing upside. He was QB1 for first 6-7 weeks of the season last year. You had AJ Brown, another year with Devonta Smith. Dallas Goedert is a solid tight end. He's going to be their 3rd wide receiver or their 3rd receiving option there. You got a slew of running backs behind him with Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. So they're gonna. I expect a big year out of him. So he would be on my love list in the 7th.
Now, I will say this. I understand. I think the receiving situation in Philadelphia is much better than it is in Arizona, especially while Hopkins is out. But I find it interesting that you look at the rushing upside of Hurts. Let me just play devil's advocate.
Sure.
I find it interesting that you play because people are going to hear this and say, I brought up the rushing upside of Kyler Murray, you blew it off. But then you mentioned the rushing upside of Jalen Hurts. So why does it matter with Hurts and not so much with Murray?
I like the weapons more around Hurts than I do with Kyler Murray.
So if the rushing upside is a wash with the 2 of them, you like the throwing ability of Hurts,
I do.
which is weird because this is what I mean, guys, when I talk about seeing the game through a fantasy perspective, okay? This is exactly what I mean. No one structuring an NFL team likes Jalen Hurts' arm more than Kyler Murray's.
Correct.
Nobody.
Correct.
Nobody. No, there are 32 NFL GMs, and every single one of them would be fired if they took Hurts' arm over Murray's.
Yeah.
But when you talk about from a fantasy perspective, and you have to take into account the full situation, that's what we talk about when we say, or when Ryan says, Hurts over Murray.
Yeah. My other love is Derek Carr.
This one I strongly disagree with.
So
Cannot wait to talk about the trade you made.
12th round, and there's no rushing upside with Derek Carr, none.
No.
So that's not going to happen. But I think he's going to throw for close to 5,000 yards this year with probably 30 plus touchdowns. So 12th round, taking your QB1, and you can load up on everything else before him. I love him in the 12th
I think
round.
you can do worse than him in the 12th round, but I'll go last. Go ahead, Mark.
I guess I'll start with my hates. My first one is going to be probably Lamar. I know
You're hating on
I
Lamar?
hate Lamar. Literally to me, when I look at him, the only upside he has is his rushing.
You're not a believer in Bateman?
Nah, he showed some promise, but that's his only weapon.
Mark Andrews.
He's the overrated type of so I know this is your team, but
Boy, that hit home.
He just finished as the tight end 1 above Travis Kelce last year. He's overrated.
I still
That
like.
would be the definition of overrated when you are ranked higher than somebody else and you.
Yeah,
Travis
don't-
Kelce's 33.
I'm just saying. I'm
Well,
just telling you what
anyway-
the definition of
anyway,
overrated is. So.
I'd take any other quarterback that starts to throw the ball over Lamar because you couldn't hit the pool in the backyard.
Well, that's not
That
true.
is such an unfair.
He can throw it 60 yards away and then be fine. But if he has to throw it from here to the wall, it's a little trouble.
That is so untrue.
He's my quarterback.
Lamar's arm is so underrated.
No, I just said he could throw it 60 yards
No,
down the
I mean
field.
his arm as
that's
a
kind of high, but
his arm as a quarterback.
as
His arm as a
accuracy
passer.
rating.
His
What I'm
accuracy
talking
does
about.
suck. Like
No,
I've
it's
watched,
not.
I've
His
watched
accuracy
every
is the
Ravens.
worst in the league.
I've watched every Ravens game for the past 7, 8
I
years.
would give
He
my
makes
right
me
arm
wanna
to have Lamar
scream
be the quarterback
throwing
of
a
Tennessee
screen
right
pass. If I watch him throw another screen pass into somebody's feet or
I've watched-
13
I watched
feet
him do
over
it.
their head, I'm just like, what are you doing? I can make that pass. I can't make the one 80 yards down the field, but I can make the one 8 feet away.
It's ridiculous. I watched him do that so many times.
I think this is such an unfair.
I try not to draft Ravens, so he's not on my list because
Yeah.
I try to do
Too much
fantasy
I would
with
give
my
my
brain
right
and not my
arm
heart.
to have
So,
Lamar be the quarterback of Tennessee right
Well,
now.
you have Ryan Tannehill
yeah,
that just hands the ball off to Derrick Henry.
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Don't get me wrong. I'm getting
I
there.
was like, it's not like you have us like with Aaron Rodgers.
And
I'm
your
getting
backup,
there.
Jordan Love.
Yeah, I mean, I take Jordan Love over Lamar Jackson.
Woo!
I'm joking. That was a complete joke. Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
give your other hate.
My other hate
so
is-
you'll be done.
My other hate
He's
is
gonna give us loves.
Whatever.
my other hate is Tua.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
What's his ADP?
He is like, he's 16th.
Yeah,
He would be a decent backup, but I think
13th round.
Yeah,
You hate having two in the 13th
yeah.
round.
I mean, to me,
Yes.
I would rather have Derek Carr.
yeah,
Yeah, if
yeah.
Derek Carr's there, I'll take him because I'm of course a little biased with that because he's got Devontae Adams.
But it's like Hagan said. He's got Tyreek and he's got Jalen Waddle. He can throw the
and
ball.
Mike is like,
Yeah, he can throw the ball. He can throw a bubble screen, and either one of them can take it to the house and make
Yes,
his stats look better. But I get it. I'm not in on
Yeah,
two. I'm not
I
trying
like-
to draft him. But
I'm just trying to
his
think,
weapons are awesome.
his weapons are there. It's just can he get the ball to him?
Right. We're gonna find out
That's
whether
what
two is a bust
it's
this year.
more
or
of a
not.
huge question mark
Yeah.
to me. So I just don't want to take the risk when I know there's some other players that are
Right.
proven.
Yeah, I get
So-
it. I do get that.
Okay, my love would probably be, of course, you said it was actually your hate, but it's Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Just all the weapons he's got,
He does.
and he's already proven that he can do really well with them.
And he hasn't gotten paid yet.
And he hasn't got paid yet. And his offensive line actually got better.
It did.
So he's actually got some time to actually think about some stuff.
One of the things that worries me about, or there's actually two, the things that worry me about Joe Burrow is he's got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, who are both fantastic. Fantastic. Both of them going in the first 4 rounds. He doesn't have a tight end anymore. CJ Uzomah's gone. They didn't use him a lot, but he was a red zone target, big guy. And the fact that Joe Mixon doesn't play a lot of third downs really bothers me with him, because Joe Mixon's so much better than Samaje Perine, who they use as their third down back.
Yeah,
so
which
that's just
could change this year.
It could,
but I do understand that. But of course, they literally went to the Super Bowl and they looked amazing the whole year.
Did.
So I guess it's just playing off of last year mostly. I'm trying to think.
Really, you got to go off of.
Yeah,
really,
I mean,
truly.
because like
Everything else is just Fletcher's.
I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. Like I said, I get it.
I was trying not to do an obvious one,
Do it obvious.
but I'll do Justin Herbert as
Yeah.
because a young dude, talk about an arm, the greatest guy, like second best arm in the league behind maybe Josh Allen. So
And a lot of people,
Both of them have cannons.
a lot of people forget how mobile Justin Herbert is too. Like
Well,
I had him,
because he's so
as
damn big.
I had him as my quarterback last year, and you just plug him in, then you're good to go.
Yeah,
Like you don't
it's-
worry about matchup, nothing.
nothing.
He's got
he's
weapons
got-
all around
Agreed.
him. I mean,
Agreed. All right, so I'll be quick about this. My loves, Lamar.
now you're getting Lamar
At his ADP again. At
ADP,
his ADP.
Towards the end of the 5th.
I'll take it. I think his rushing upside. I think his arm is vastly underrated. He gets
So I
hated
did-
on a lot.
So I did a quick stat check.
Go
real
ahead.
Quick. His percentage on completion is 66, like 65% for his completion. And so I compared it to Patrick Mahomes, which throws the ball,
which is the quarterback.
also about 66%. Now we'll say attempts. So Lamar threw the ball 385 times. Patrick Mahomes threw the ball 690 times.
But Lamar
When he
missed a
had
big
Tariq
chunk.
Hill.
Lamar missed a big chunk
Of
of
this
time
year.
last year
Well,
too.
yeah.
So I'm glad you said it.
Yeah.
So I went down to the year before that. Same amount, about 300 times he throws the ball a year, 300 to 400, and still has like a 65% completion rating. He has an arm, like you said, you can throw it out of the building, but you can't throw it to Joe
I will
Schmo sitting
take-
3 foot away from him.
I will take Lamar at his ADP.
See, you're getting him in the 5th round. There's still a lot of wide receivers and
Yes.
running backs there.
And thinking
I
about the
wouldn't
league
take
that
a
we're
sh-
in, 5th round is actually 2nd round,
Yep.
if you really
Yeah.
think about it. So now you're
If
taking
you
him at.
keep, if you keep
three.
If
three
you keep
keepers.
3.
But
I
think
I think Lamar is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. As far as his fantasy value, I will look to take him in this draft, no matter how I end up having to draft or what shenanigans I have to pull to get this done. My other love, I don't have a strong one outside of it because I'm trying to give something you guys haven't given. I don't have something strong really going in. I'll say Brady just because
Brady's
it's
an
a
excellent
consistent.
let him know.
It's a consistent score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
You're getting Brady average draft picks in the 9th round.
I would take Brady over any of the guys that we've talked about in that range.
Yeah. 100%. Like
if
he's
you-
a huge value. He's
if
always
I
undervalued.
wait, he's not going to throw a lot of interceptions just because he's so smart that doesn't throw a lot of interceptions.
He's not going to take a whole lot of sacks.
Doesn't,
Yeah, so
yeah,
I mean-
because they're not going to get him hit because they know they'll be cut on
Yeah.
the next Tuesday morning. So I'll take Brady as my other love. My hates, I have one that probably won't surprise anybody. Justin Fields, I'm completely entirely out on. Wouldn't take him at
Hold on. What? Rewind. What? So let's go back like a year or so ago.
I like him as an NFL quarterback.
There was an NFL draft, and I was talking about how I really thought Mac Jones was probably the best quarterback in that draft.
I I still think
And
Justin Fields.
somebody told me I was stupid and that Justin
I
Fields
thought we
was
were
by
talking about-
far the best quarterback.
I thought we were talking about fantasy value. Again, I prefaced this entire segment by saying we're talking about fantasy value. I am out on Justin Fields as a fantasy quarterback.
Even if
I
you
also
get him at the
think-
end of the 13th round.
Yes, I don't want to touch him at all because I
Maybe-
think they're going to text you to go play wide receiver.
Maybe a QB too.
Now, the
Yeah.
here's what I will
I
say.
don't disagree.
Here's what I'll say about the Justin Fields Mac Jones comparison. Switch the two, and Fields will do the same thing. Fields is in Chicago, one of the most dysfunctional, poorly run, underfunded piece of shit franchises in the entire league. He is in Chicago. He will never be anything there. That place swallows careers. It's awful. I think he is every bit as talented as Mac Jones, but if you're going to talk about going into the season, the situation he's in, and the numbers he's going to put up as a fantasy quarterback, I'm completely out.
I just wanted to bring up the fact that
I'll talk about it. I still think he's as good of a quarterback as Mac Jones.
Which is a shame because, and as a Packer fan, I love to see the Bears just wallow in their
Sure.
pit.
Right.
But it's a shame because they are such a historical football team to be run the way that they're run, and to constantly be compared to the 85 Bears, no matter what team is out there, they get compared to that. And there is no way to live up to that team.
Well,
that is a super team.
It's an entirely different game now.
Yeah.
The 85 Bears defense could exist today.
No.
Everyone will be suspended.
You talking about so many suspensions, it would be funny.
Yeah.
There'd be targeting calls out the ass.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that's an entirely ridiculous even preface to a discussion. Like if there's a game, the one thing the NFL has done for all of their negatives, well, the one thing they've done better than anybody else, the NBA certainly better than baseball, is adapt the game over years and change the game, which is why you can if you're going to look at numbers, the best 25 quarterbacks in the history of the game have played in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close. You know what I mean? Russell Wilson's better than anybody who played in the 80s. Now, if you're going to look at their impact on the game in their era, then that's obviously a different conversation. But the NFL doesn't stay beholden to its previous stats the way baseball does.
No way.
I still take Joe Montana over Russell Wilson.
But I agree with you. But that's my point.
Right.
Is they played two different games. Light years. It's the
Well,
LeBron.
I mean,
It's the
think
LeBron
about
Michael
what.
argument.
Well, think about what Montana could have done if he played by these rules.
No, yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
point.
that's his point.
That's my point. Think about
Yeah,
what Michael could have done if he didn't have hand check.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's my point. Is it's two different games. That's why baseball can compare somebody from 2022 to 1964.
Yeah.
Is because they refuse to change their game and they are still playing the same game.
Right.
This is why ratings continue to drop. But NFL is adapted so far over time that Montana and Russell Wilson aren't even playing the same game.
No.
Like,
You could.
Russell Wilson can throw the ball over the middle without having to worry about his receiver ended up in traction. Okay.
Also, you can't get clotheslined as a quarterback anymore. Like,
Yeah,
you gotta
true.
get as a quarterback. You got a spot to
You
get them
got-
right
you gotta
here.
strike
You can't
zone.
just go.
Yeah.
Hit
Yeah.
Joe Montana.
I mean, think of the best defensive backs in the history of the game. What was Roy Williams for the Cowboys that just used to take people's heads off?
Yeah.
You know, and I mean that stuff's not gonna fly nowadays.
No.
So anyway, my hates Justin Fields and let me think of somebody that hasn't been mentioned yet that I am completely out on. Oh no, this is a perfect time to say Derek Carr. I am completely out on Derek Carr at his ADP. Here's why. Devontae Adams is a mega talent at wide receiver. I have seen two wide receivers in my life change teams and produce in the current NFL. One was Randy Moss, who's maybe the best wide receiver to ever play football. And the other, Stephon Diggs, who got out of whatever was going on in Minnesota with him. I don't know how that even happened. But they ended up with Justin Jefferson, so whatever. So I hate wide receivers on new teams. Hate it. I don't want A.J. Brown this year. I don't want Devontae Adams. I don't want Tyreek Hill. I'm out on all those guys to give a preview of my wide receiver picks. I'm out on any wide receiver on a new team. Derek Carr is Mac Jones with a little better workout. I don't trust his arm. I hate everything to do with the Raiders. New coach, everything. They played the Jaguars in the Hall of Fame game, which could make anybody look like a functional franchise. Totally out on Derek Carr. We'll bourbon break here, and then we will go to running back and wide receiver. We'll give it all both at the same time.
You have something to say?
Well, I was just like, he was like Devontae Adams. Like I understand maybe kind of not really, but that Devontae Adams may struggle. They play in college together, but then you have guys that have been there for like Darren Waller. They can throw to Hunter Renfrow. So and then Josh Jacobs.
Everything you can. Josh Jacobs not gonna be there. Everything you can give me that's ever happened in Devontae Adams' career, he has a top 5 to 6 quarterback throwing him the ball in the history of the game. Aaron Rodgers is a generational talent.
Yeah,
quarterback.
There's
yeah,
no doubt.
but my
Yes.
point was that the other two guys that he's been throwing to for a few years are still on the team with the top tight end like Darren Waller.
I could not be more out on Derek Carr. There is nothing that would make me.
I'm with you. I'm out on Derek Carr too, just because.
I'm just saying,
and that's why that.
You
the
might want
trade
to talk
had
to your.
happen.
You might want to talk to your fellow.
Oh,
If
well,
he's
there
there
at
in
the end.
12th, 13th round,
I
I'm taking
love-
him. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I mean, I love Devontae Adams.
He won't be.
I mean,
Yeah,
I love Devontae Adams, but he's going to see more double teams than what he saw at Green Bay, just because, and those other guys are going to benefit from it. So, I mean,
You know what else
he
he
might
hasn't
get his
had?
5,000, which he hasn't done in his career.
He hasn't.
Which he might get his 5,000.
He's also never had a Devontae Adams on his team.
And that's fine, but you know what else Derek Carr can't do at Aaron Rodgers' level? Come to the line of scrimmage and check to something that benefits Devontae Adams. He's not as smart. He's not as talented.
His football IQ is not as good as
Well,
well.
apparently,
That's not fair. Like
Why is it not fair?
because Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Okay.
Then how is it not
Ever.
relevant? I don't care if it's fair.
We're-
I don't
but
care if anything's fair.
it's like the
Comparing
reason
you
it's
to Albert
fair-
Einstein. It's
Yeah.
not fair.
No,
Sounds like
the
we're
reason it's-
talking fantasy.
But the reason we're a little off fantasy right here. But the reason it is fair though is we're talking about the same receiver. That's why it's different. And
I'm talking about numbers on a piece of paper. I don't give a shit if
But
it's
you
fair or
haven't
not.
seen Devontae play with Carr yet.
I know. I saw him play
True.
with one of the best
We haven't
quarterbacks
seen
to
him yet.
ever play the game.
the only time we've
We're
seen
not
him is at
gonna-
what
I
Fresno
know, but
State.
he's got dumb and dumber.
Yeah, I know. You're not
I love that he's drafted for you, and you guys.
Well, it's just
No.
like I'm not drafting him to be my QB1.
No.
If he's there 12th round, 13th
Hang on.
round,
Are you defending the guy you're going to take as your QB2? My man, I could have Trevor Lawrence as my QB2.
Oh God, I'd much rather have Derek Carr than
My
Trevor
point
Lawrence
is-
as my QB2.
My point is, why are you having such a hard opinion if he's not even going? If he's not going to be your QB1, what is your holdup here?
You've got so much to learn, Hagan.
like you don't know how important a QB2 is in a fantasy football league.
I understand, but
Like,
what you're
because what
talking
if
about is.
what if your QB1 gets hurt? That QB2 that you drafted is your quarterback.
I
the rest of
understand,
the year.
Ryan. Do we ever plan for injuries?
I try not to account for injuries. I assume everybody's going to be healthy all year long.
There is no
Then, of
planning
course-
for injuries. Anybody in the
then, of course, bye
NFL can
weeks.
be hurt at any point.
Bye weeks are about is
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
I will agree with bye weeks,
but
but I can't.
I'll tell
I'm
you-
sorry, Parker. I don't
I'll tell
plan
you
for
this:
injuries.
I like to have.
I mean,
I
understand
like to
that.
have two QBs. Last year I
Can I
had.
get that broken barrel?
Yes, last year I had Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts. Okay,
Yeah,
so I had
Amazing
two
quarterback.
top 5 QBs on my team.
Well, yeah, that worked out.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
and you still
and-
finished last?
yes,
Oh.
because my weapons were terrible. I
Right.
traded them for draft picks. Thank you. But
I didn't do that. I didn't. In fact, I didn't do that.
But anyway, and most of the time I was just starting Justin Herbert. But I like to be able to look at a matchup. If there's a matchup, if I have two top level QBs, I'm going to look at a matchup and say, okay, the rushing upside of Jalen Hurts here in this game outweighs the secondary that Justin Herbert's facing here.
Right.
So, or maybe Justin Herbert's got one of his weapons hurt. So you got to be able to look at matchups and go from there too. That's what I like. I just like to have options. So
I understand what you're saying. I couldn't be more out
I get
on
it.
Derek Carr.
I get it.
We're not going to convince you.
We're
otherwise.
not trying to change your mind.
Yeah.
All right, so let's bourbon break it real quick, and then we will go to running back, wide receiver. I was not aware that Parker felt so strongly about Derek Carr as his QB2. So
I didn't know you were so dumb to.
I can't wait for Hagan to finish last this year. Because
I really hope he does. Holy shit.
we'll get into it later. He's going to. He's going to. He's never been in a
What we
league
finished?
like
We
this.
finished what, second?
Second the first
Second
year.
the first year, and middle of the pack. The
Yeah,
second
middle of the pack.
year.
All right. Heavy deal. Quality household style bourbon is what I've been told this is. Whew, all right.
This is actually Broken Barrel.
Yeah, this is Broken Barrel small batch. I won't lie, I've switched over. So
If you put those on top, you won't spit.
what?
If you put those up top, you won't spit.
It's weird to me to have a dip in and not
It's
spit.
not a dip.
You're not a dip.
It's just-
Anyway,
Sure.
all right.
Got a dip.
So,
What's the
get
thing?
a t-shirt near you. So we'll go to running back and wide receiver. I'm going to give just a couple. You guys feel free to get as many as tickles your fancy. I don't care. Whatever. So I want to stop here, and I'm going to give my opinion on this, and then I'll shut up, and I will let the entire room say whatever they want to say about this trade, because it's you guys' trade, and so
It'll be short and sweet.
Yeah.
It was a great trade for both of us.
Us three are both happy.
I understand that I'm not going to get you to. Yeah, I just feel strongly about one side than the other. Devontae Adams, as we mentioned in the last segment, is an uber talented wide receiver. Not only is he uber talented, he has never demonstrated any of the diva qualities of a lot of wide receivers in the NFL through his career. By all means, he's been a grinder, just, head down worker.
Consummate professional.
He's a Packer, you know what I mean? So I don't know how he's enjoying Vegas, but it's not Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we'll see. But Ryan made a trade, gave up.
Ryan and Matt and Parker made a trade.
One team to the other. Ryan, your team gave up Derrick Henry
Yes.
to get from Matt and Parker's team Devontae Adams.
Yes.
Here's where I'm at on this. I think it's a trade that makes sense a year from now for Ryan. Matt and Parker, I first applaud you for making a trade that I think was probably difficult, given that you're both Packer fans, to give up Devontae Adams.
Talk about one of my favorite wide receivers ever.
Right. No, that makes
was
sense.
That was the hardest thing
Yeah,
I've ever
no.
done.
So again, I applaud you. Like
But
you guys
it's
looked out.
basically a Godfather thing, though. I'm
Yeah.
gonna offer you something you can't refuse.
Right.
That was an offer I couldn't refuse.
I
That
mean-
was so true.
So I look at this trade and think, as a Titans fan, Derrick Henry's clock is ticking. I think he has one more elite year in the NFL. I don't know how many years left he has in the NFL. I think he has one more elite year.
I don't think any three of us disagree with you on that.
I think Derrick Henry has one more elite year in the NFL, and I think it's this year. Tennessee has tried their very best to squander his entire career with mediocre ownership. Mike Vrabel does what he can, but the team seems.
Mike Vrabel's a hell of a coach.
He
I
is.
think he does.
He
all the
is, and
things
when
of
he
what
leaves,
has.
and when he leaves one day and goes and wins the Super Bowl with another franchise, you'll see that.
Yeah.
But you won't see it in Tennessee because they just don't believe in that sort of thing. So I think Derrick Henry is going to see a potential for a record in his career high in touches this year. I don't know that there's a lot of other options, and I think strictly by volume. Now, you heard Ryan and I mentioned this earlier. I don't know if Matt and Parker do this or not. It's their own team. It's their strategy, so it's not up to me. But I don't plan for injury. Anybody in the NFL can be injured at any moment. Anybody could play the last play of their career, right? That's football. So I don't know who plays more games this year, Devontae Adams or Derrick Henry. Certainly, when you look at the position, running back and wide receiver, you would say the running back has more chance to get hurt. That's fair, except Derrick Henry's built like a brick shit house, and he still managed to get hurt last year with a foot injury. So there are no indestructible players in the league. If an injury ends up making one of these guys a year significantly better than the other, I don't look at. I don't.
Yeah, you can't. At
that's
that
not
point,
a
you can't compare. I agree.
Now, in my opinion, if they both play the same number of games this season, Derrick Henry's year is significantly better than Devontae Adams. I would much rather have Derrick Henry. Now,
Then you guys made a great trade.
I'm on their side of this trade. That's just where I'm at. Now, a year from now, I think Ryan, while he may not have made the trade specifically for Devontae Adams, I think could have made the trade for fill-in name of wide receiver at Devontae Adams level and got Derrick Henry at his peak. If you're looking at fantasy players, to me, you look at them like stocks. You want to sell when it's at the highest, right? I think Derrick Henry is at
Thank you for making my point.
I think think Derrick Henry's going to have one more year at his peak and then dump the stock. I firmly believe that. And I own his jersey. But I'm just saying, I think this is a deal you could have made a year from now. You made a trade for Derrick Henry anyway. And before you even get any value out of him, you've dealt him for Devontae Adams on a new team with a quarterback significantly worse than the one he had before. No argument there. There's no argument.
No.
So that's where I'm at. I will say on my running back / wide receiver love-hate, I don't hate Devontae Adams on my team. I hate Devontae Adams where you got him for the value you gave up. Now, if I was doing a complete redraft league and had a chance to get Devontae Adams in the 5th round.
5th round? There's no way. He's never going to the 5th round.
In a 10-team league?
No.
Are you crazy?
No.
Devontae
In a
Adams.
12-team.
Fourth, fifth round.
No. In a
Devontae
12.
Adams?
No. In a 12-team league, he's going at the 202.
Holy shit.
That's way too high. No way. I do
wait,
not think you
There's
can
no
overstate.
way you're getting Devontae Adams in the
Do you
5th
know-
round ever.
Okay.
Do-
Is this
do
your
I
first
think that-
fantasy league?
No, but
I cannot
Holy
wait.
shit.
I cannot wait.
If you-
Here's the
if you
thing. I
thought-
cannot overstate his downgraded quarterback.
But if you thought any way
Does
possible,
it matter who throws the ball when he goes to catch it?
No, not him. You're looking at a guy that's going to get a 30% target share.
Yeah, they're going to get him the ball no matter where.
Yeah.
he's on
It
the
does
field.
matter who throws you the ball.
Thank you.
And so far that's the only thing I've agreed with what he said. But
I hope you agreed with more. You made the deal.
I know I like
We're
I
both
like
happy. We're both happy with
I
our
like
deal.
our trade.
been happy with
You
your
like
life.
what-
We're both in win now mode.
Well,
Yeah.
to go
Because, and guys, here's something that our teams haven't been brought up yet, or why we made this trade. Because Matt and Parker, before this trade was made, we're going to keep Dalvin Cook,
You can keep up to 3 players.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
keep Dalvin Cook, they were going to keep Jamar Chase, and they were going to keep Devontae Adams. Okay. We play in a PPR league, full point PPR league. So they were going to have 1 running back, 2 wide receivers to keep. I was going to keep 3 running backs. I was going to have Devontae Swift, Saquon Barkley, and Derrick Henry. All 6 players are going in the first 3 rounds of fantasy drafts. Total. When we make the trade, we have to keep the players. We can't drop them before the season starts, anything like that. I initially made a trade last year to a player. He had Derrick Henry on his team. When he lost Derrick Henry for the year, I saw the opportunity to draft Derrick Henry. So I had traded him DeAndre Hopkins for Derrick Henry so he could have another elite player. So essentially what I've done is turned DeAndre Hopkins into Devontae Adams. So I've turned a player that's suspended for 6 weeks of the season into Devontae Adams.
If
Essentially.
you look at it in a vacuum, sure.
to go to what he said a while ago, though, yeah, what he said, if you made this trade next year,
I
I
can't.
wouldn't have pulled the trigger.
No, exactly.
There'd been
no way.
Exactly. Because
not you. I didn't say you. I said
Statistically,
before
That there have been
This
no
is something
way.
born every day, sir.
No, there's no way that I can make this trade next year.
I mean, I
It
like.
doesn't matter what Devontae Adams does this year and what Derrick Henry does this year. At the end of this year, I cannot make a trade with a 29-year-old running back. Like I said, we are both in win now mode.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we both have 2 running backs and a wide receiver going into our draft when we start in the 4th round. And last year I traded players for 4th round picks. So I have 3 4th round picks. I have my 4th round pick. I have Hagan's 4th round pick. And I have Jeremy's 4th round pick. So I have 3 4th round picks.
Which will be the first round you draft.
Which will be the first round that I draft. There will be players that draft ahead of me because there will be players that'll keep 1. There will be players that'll keep 2. There's one guy that came in that he's not keeping anybody. He's brand new, so we let him keep 0. But still, I'll have 3 4th round picks to pick from, and I'll get to start with 2 running backs and a wide receiver. By the end of the 4th round, theoretically, I could have my RB1, my RB2, my RB3, my wide receiver 1, my wide receiver 2, and my wide receiver 3 at the end of the 4th round. So this is why this is a good trade for me now, because like I said, we're both in win now mode. They have Parker and Matt have 3 guys that are going in the first round of drafts.
I told him that the other day. I was like, hey, I've been doing a lot of mock drafts, and we have 3 guys that are going in the first round every single one.
Like, so and that's what I'm saying. Like, I couldn't offer them DeAndre Swift, who is a late 1st round, early 2nd round guy, or Saquon, who's going mid-second to end 2nd.
Yeah.
To get this trade done, I knew I had to give them my best running back to get this trade done, because that's the only thing that makes sense. I have to offer them the best so I can get their best wide receiver, and what I thought is their best wide receiver.
Just so you guys know, I just posted it in the league Facebook group.
That's fine.
Derrick Henry greater than Devontae Adams. Just
That's
so I'm
fine.
on record. I just want to say, I love this trade from the Matt Parker side. Hate it from the Ryan side. I will yield now to Parker. You can say whatever you want about your love hate for running back wide receiver. That's all I wanted. That was all I wanted to get off my chest. Go ahead. Whatever the trade. No. Continue on the trade or whatever you want to say. I'm done now.
Okay, the craziest part to me is when you said I was going to try to get Devontae Adams
in the 5th round.
That's where I would start to take it. I am so out.
Here's the thing. Here's
I
the
wouldn't.
thing. Nobody has to.
I didn't say I would get him in
want
the 5th round. I'm saying unless he fell to me there, I wouldn't have him. I didn't claim that he
Think
would
about
be
this
there.
though. He's high on Lamar.
Yeah.
Okay. He's high on Lamar. He has no 4th round pick. So his first pick is gonna have if he wants Lamar, it's gonna have to be Lamar.
No. I said I like Lamar at his ADP.
That's 503.
Yeah, that's his
That is the
right, but
503.
when you figure in my team structure, it doesn't mean I'm taking Lamar first.
You're gonna have to get him.
I understand that I will pass ahead, but I didn't make that trade. But I just hang on. In fairness, I think it's worth noting I didn't put my team in that position. I just took over the
I didn't say this.
We didn't say that.
That's just a position you're in.
He does. Hagan does have an extra 7th round pick, which theoretically in our league is a 4th round. But
I didn't do any of that. I took over
I'm
the
not-
roster.
nobody's saying that you did it.
No.
I'm just saying if you want Lamar Jackson, he's going to have to be your first pick.
Your first pick of the
Your
draft.
first pick.
If not, he's gone.
He's not
We
going to
don't
make
do
it
that
to
when
you
he
in the
comes back.
6th round.
No. Not with those jokers that are.
Okay, then again, I say, not with those jokers. At the end, I want to move on past this. But
I'm
it's
sorry, you made a
Derrick-
good point. I was trying to make sure we were putting on the record.
You're talking about these jokers. Derrick Henry, after a big year, could have been traded for not to you for Devontae Adams. I'm not even claiming you guys.
After this year, a 29-year-old running back who's touched the ball 500 times a year for 3 or 4 years in a row, who do I get for him that's better than Devontae Adams?
I didn't say better. I said at his level. I said at his level to a sucker in the league.
Like Derrick Henry's only good for us for next 2 years. We're just trying to win with maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We're just trying to win.
Like I
I don't disagree with any of that. I like Tennessee squandered his
we are all in win now mode.
Oh, I can also say that Devontae Adams might only be good to you for only
Exactly.
1 or 2.
Exactly.
Because
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly.
if Carr
Like I
can't
said,
give
we
him
are
the
in
ball,
win now mode.
they will eat that contract he just signed in April, because if he doesn't get hurt, they can still get rid of him and still only eat $6 million of it. And that's fine.
He will be in Vegas for a year if Carr can't perform.
If he can't get Devontae the ball, he's out.
Yeah, I agree.
And they'll find somebody else.
I totally like I said, we are in win now mode. Both of this trade for my team and for the Huffs teams were to win this coming season.
I'm happy with the trade.
Me too.
Wide receivers and running backs.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Parker.
Okay. I'm gonna start off with a very obvious wide receiver, Jamar Chase. I mean, he's one of our keepers, so that's maybe a little biased, but
he would have been anybody's keeper.
Yeah, I was like, he's going like if you're starting a fresh.
Their team was so good they had to drop AJ Brown.
Yeah, if you're
like,
starting,
they can't keep AJ Brown.
If you're starting a fresh keeper league, he's going like first 2-3 picks, easy. So if he falls to you past that, easy pickup right there.
Yeah, he's an easy first round pick.
Another wide receiver that kind of jumps out to me, if at least some keeper drafts I was looking at, Brandon Cooks was dropping to like.
You took one of mine.
Yeah,
I'll change. Yeah.
Okay, Brandon Cooks was dropping to like 8th round. I was like, if you can get a Brandon Cooks in the 8th round, that's
he's going like high 6 or late 6, early 7.
I was doing a mock draft, got him in like the 9th round.
PPR monster.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like easy.
Who performed with a rookie quarterback who's only so. Like Davis Mills is like he's okay.
We might have to come back to him on hate so I can like.
What?
I have one more running back love.
Go for it.
That I want to give. It's a late round, stupid pick. Ryan knows where I'm going because he's done a bunch of mocks with me.
It's not a stupid pick.
I think stupid because it's late. It's so late.
It's a 9th round running back. It's a 9th round running back who Hagan normally takes much earlier than our mocks.
Well, a round or two. But I think here's why the love is Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
I am in as much as I can be on Tony Pollard. Here's why. I am out as far as I can get on Ezekiel Elliott and his diet. I don't know what Zeke did after he got paid except eat. I think Zeke is the last running back I would want on my team. I hope if I don't draft, that if he drafts my team, I don't end up with Ezekiel Elliott. But I think Zeke is out.
Zeke could be somebody's keeper.
I don't.
He's
going
in the 3rd round, depending on who has him now. I know who has him now, but depending on he could be an actual keeper.
I'm talking 6 weeks into the year. I think Tony Pollard is the running back 1 in Dallas. I think that has value. Zeke was not the best running back in Dallas last year. I think Tony Pollard was the best running back in Dallas last year. The numbers may not bear that out, but when I watched Dallas play football, Tony Pollard was the best running back in Dallas. I am way out on Zeke, and because I am out on Zeke, I think Pollard ends up with the volume, and I am big on Tony Pollard. If I draft my team, Tony Pollard will likely be on it because I'll take him before anybody else would think about it.
Did you come up with the other ones, or you want me to
go ahead.
Okay. I'll start with my running back loves. DeAndre Swift's on my keeper team. I love him. He's the consensus RB.
Catches a lot of balls.
RB10. He's going to early 2nd round. He does catch a lot of balls. He is super fast. He's got Jared Goff as a quarterback who's going to check the ball down and check the ball down and check the ball down.
Yeah.
He in a PPR league, he is a monster.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift's a hell of a pick.
And it's like I was talking to with Hagan the other day. He has potential to be the RB1 just because he may only rush for 50 yards a game, but he may have 6 receptions for 40 yards, and I've got 15 points out of him. Even if he doesn't score a touchdown, if he scores a touchdown, I'm in the 20s.
Yeah,
if he falls into
the end zone.
Yeah. So I mean, I love that. Of course, he's on my team, so I'm a little bit biased there. A late round running back that I won't say late, a sleeper, a guy that hasn't even played a snap in the league yet. Travis Etienne's
Yes.
going late fourth. Another running back that catches the ball. Played with his quarterback in college in
That
Clemson.
is,
Yeah.
in case you're wondering, to give a wrestling reference, Tony Khan did that for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
That is a Trevor Lawrence pick. He wanted Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
He got him. I almost said Etienne when I brought up Pollard. That is, I absolutely agree with that. Trevor Lawrence is. There's no one in Jacksonville Trevor Lawrence is more comfortable with than Travis Etienne.
So running backs, I'm out on Nick Chubb. He's a great running back. I don't want any shares of him in any league I'm in. He's going mid-second round. Doesn't catch the ball. Jacoby Brissett's the quarterback there. The O-line's not as good as it was. I don't want any shares of a running back that doesn't catch the ball at all.
Even with Kareem Hunt one now.
Yes, even with Kareem Hunt one now, I want no shares of him. Another one I'm out on is Najee Harris. O-line's not any good. Doesn't have elite speed. He's gonna get less usage this year than he got last year as a rookie, from what I'm reading. Big Ben's not there to check the ball down to him 142,000 times a game. I don't like it. He's basically a fullback, so I'm out on him there. I'll go ahead and go to my wide receivers that love to eat real quick since I'm already there. No shares of Cooper Kupp coming from this guy right here. None. He's average draft.
He almost has to regress.
His average draft position is the 105. No shares.
That's the fifth pick. For those that don't know
Yeah.
what he's referring to, it's the fifth pick of the first round.
Yeah, I don't see it happening again. He is an elite route runner. There's no doubt there. He's also not young. He's older than people think. So he's almost 30. I want no shares of Cooper Kupp, so I'm out on him. Another wide receiver I'm out on would be AJ Brown. At his draft position, he's just a mid-third pick. I think he's fine, but Philadelphia's not going to throw the ball a whole lot.
Especially down the field.
Yeah. So
which is what AJ Brown did in Tennessee.
he's a big physical wide receiver, goes up and gets jump balls. I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I just don't want him in the third round, which is why they're not keeping him in the third round. They have Jamar Chase, so it's an easy decision for them, but I just don't want him in the third round there. Two wide receivers I love real quick. Devontae Adams. He's the 202. Second pick in the second round in a 12-man draft. Go for it, Hagan. He's going to get throughout the only year he hasn't had a 10 touchdown year is the year they only played 12 games and he had 9.
Hang on, I'm looking for all those years that Derek Carr played in Green Bay. Go ahead.
He's going to get at least a 30% target share. He's probably the best wide receiver in the league, if not the second best. Cooper Kupp may be better, but they're both elite route runners. He's going to get 10 to 15 touchdowns this year. I can't wait. The other one that I think could be a steal in some people's drafts, Michael Pittman Jr. Going in the mid fifth round. Huge upgrade to quarterback from Carson Wentz to Matt Ryan. He is the wide receiver one there. So now, so there's no doubt about it. So
I will say this about Matt Ryan in Indy. I probably won't wait on quarterback long enough to end up with Matt Ryan on my team. I think we've talked about where I feel at quarterback, enough. But as a Titans fan,
Matt Ryan's the QB 20 going into the 15th round.
yeah. Well, then I won't end up with him on my team. But Matt Ryan in Indy, Matt Ryan is better than what you saw in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That is
there was no weapons there last
That's
year.
a franchise.
It was just Cornhole Patterson.
Yeah, that's a franchise.
And a rookie Kyle Pitts.
And a franchise that's almost dysfunctional enough to be the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
So I think Matt Ryan in Indy is
It's a huge upgrade.
It's scary, and it's probably why my Titans.
And they're in the
division.
worst division in football, so there's no reason that they shouldn't win that division.
And Tennessee probably still finishes third in that division.
They probably finished second. I don't see Jacksonville or Houston doing enough. They're both bad. They're just both bad.
Well,
Tennessee
Tennessee's
probably
better.
finishes second in that division.
Because somebody has to. Anyway, go ahead, Matt.
I'll keep it real short here. Running backs, we were just talking about Matt Ryan, so you gotta go with Taylor as a like.
For
And
sure.
I know he's the highest guy.
He's the
but,
101
I
or
mean,
the 102.
so
Jonathan
and
Taylor-
he's probably getting kept in our league. So
Oh, he's definitely.
yeah, he's definitely-
Yeah, B-Max keeper.
That's B-Max.
Yeah.
Another one I like, and he's down there around where Swift was, and that's Aaron Jones. League touchdown scorer.
Who's also
couple
getting
years.
capped by me.
And then I'll tell you who I'm out on, and that's Saquon Barkley. And
I'm keeping him.
I know you're keeping him. I'm just that whole Giants franchise is shit.
Can I
And-
tell you my reason of why I'm keeping him?
Yeah,
Before-
go ahead. I mean, that's
I'm
fine.
totally fine. Like, he's been injured. He hasn't performed really since his rookie year. I get it. Like, he's a risk for me to keep, but he's my third keeper. You've got Brian Daboll, who was been the offensive coordinator at the Bills, who's going to be there. Like I said, I don't take injury into account, so I don't worry about. That's not something I think about when I keep a keeper. But if he stays healthy, he has the ability to be an RB1. So I totally get why you're out on him, but at the same time,
Well, he's been
I
an RB1.
have to keep him. Yeah, I have to keep him.
Well, yeah. I mean,
His upside, he's young enough that his upside's still there for me.
in
So
a keeper
it's
league,
still
you
there.
keep what benefits your team.
Yeah.
So if that benefits your team, then you got to keep him. Just
Right.
like who we're keeping. So as far as
y'all,
wide receivers,
their keepers are killer. Their three keepers
I think
that they're
it's
keeping
fair.
are the best of anybody in our
It's
leagues.
tough to look at
It is
anybody's
hard.
keepers next to you guys and say, well, why did you keep that guy? Well, yeah, on your
Yeah.
roster, I mean, it would
They're
be
all
There was
no-brainers.
No-brainers.
They
It was-
are
it
all
was
no-brainers.
Super obvious who we were keeping.
yeah. As far as wide receivers, who I'm out on Allen out of the Chargers.
Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. I'm not. I think we had him at one time, and
Yeah.
he just was. He was a non-performer.
He
Really.
just doesn't score touchdowns.
Yeah, and
He really
that
gets down the
hurts.
field
Yeah.
and then doesn't
Yeah,
score.
he
Well,
just doesn't score
because
touchdowns.
in the red zone they go to Cup.
Yeah.
So
no,
No.
wrong team.
no, wrong team.
Wrong team.
Mike Williams
They go
or
to-
Austin Eckler.
Yes, Eckler.
Yeah.
Eckler's who I was thinking
Yeah.
about. Two-way. Is it? Yeah. Who am I thinking about?
timestamp. Clip that.
No, I don't care if you clip it or not. I'm just trying to think who I was thinking about. All right, who did I say? Oh,
Yeah.
like Diggs in Buffalo. That's my like.
Mhm.
So
Ooh, another sleeper, Gabriel Davis.
Oh yeah,
In,
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
No Emmanuel Sanders there, no Cole Beasley there this year.
He's number two.
Dawson Knox
is
doesn't.
there,
He's a red zone. He's a red zone
Yeah.
threat. But I mean, I agree wholeheartedly
Yeah.
with you. I think Gabe Davis is going to be a huge value in drafts this year.
So, Matt, was that it?
that's it. I'm
We
done.
will wrap up. I'll give everybody a chance to give one more name. I don't care what position. You can give a rookie if you want. I will say this: total homers pick, as I said here in I Bleed Blue Go Cats shirt.
Wandale.
I really genuinely believe this. I really do. Wandale Robinson in New York is going to have fantasy value. I would not take him before the last 3 rounds. I'm not going to reach. It's not. I probably.
He's probably your last pick before you pick kickers and defenses.
I will say, and I won't end up with him because he's a UK guy and it's a room full of Kentucky fans and somebody will reach. But
No, they won't.
it's going to be. He is not just another UK player to get drafted. Wandale is going to have an NFL career. He is going to make plays. It sort of reminds me of like Cordell Patterson, where you're not going to know what week to start him because one week he's going to pop and score a touchdown and have 8 catches, and the next week he's going to have 2 for 10. So it's going to be inconsistent. He's going to be a bye week streamer.
I don't hate it. Like, he's definitely a streamer, like somebody that matchup wise you'll have to check out. Reports out of the camp is that the Giants love him.
Yeah.
He's lining up out of the backfield. Saquon's lining up in the slot. It's it's good with Brian Daboll. You don't know what you're going to
Let's
see.
just be
He's
hopeful.
going to be a weapon. I don't know how much fantasy relevance he'll have.
Let's
I think
just
real
be
football
hopeful.
wise, he'll be much more relevant.
Let's just be hopeful that the Giants use him like UK did and not Nebraska.
Uh,
He is not a running back.
No,
He
they
is
won't.
Not
they
a
will
running
not.
back. He is not a running back. He is not a running
I
back.
think Brian Daboll's thought is you line him up in the backfield, put Saquon in the slot. You make a linebacker cover Wandale coming out of the backfield while you put a corner on Saquon to get him out of the play, run him to the other side, and then you got Wandale against a linebacker, which is a complete mismatch.
He's going to outrun every time.
So,
I just
like I
think,
said, real football wise, I think Wandale's going to have much more of an impact than fantasy.
Here's where I like Wandale. In a league like where you keep more players, because Wandale's not going to have the kind of year where he's going to be a keeper next year.
Never.
But not in this league.
No.
But in a league where I keep a full starting lineup, there's a chance where I could keep him as a flex because it's
in a lot of keeper leagues run it different than what we do. Is if we had drafted Wandale in the 15th, it's hey, do you want to keep Wandale in the 15th or do you want to keep Saquon in the 3rd? Well, in that case, you take Wandale in the 15th, you get a new 3rd round pick.
Right, and that's a different. What we're talking there, strategy. I'm by no means Sam Wandale's going to pop to a wide receiver 1 type level. I don't think he ever in his career will be a wide receiver 1 type level. But I just think that there is a Cordero Patterson type value to him as a bye week streamer. That's all I'm.
What you got?
I was just going to throw a few names out there, kind of like do some more like names I may have missed. Like Allen Robinson.
Yep.
He's on the Rams now. He's got Matthew Stafford on the team now. He should be a pretty
And
good.
The genius of Sean McVay to get him open.
Like,
so.
And
he reminds
who
me.
else is in LA now?
Cooper Kupp.
Offensive coordinator from UK.
Oh, Liam Cohen.
Liam Cohen's
Sorry.
also back in LA now. We saw that.
But Sean McVay is the offensive
Sean
coordinator.
McVay.
Let's be
I
real.
understand, but Liam Cohen
he-
has shown the ability to get the ball to slot guys.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he reminds me of kind of like a Robert Woods type of role.
Oh, for sure.
So like
for sure.
they knew how to get him the ball,
Yeah,
and then he got
for
hurt
sure.
last year. So
Yeah.
he's easy one to me. Christian Kirk, they paid him a shit ton of money, so hopefully they can get him on offense. So he should be getting a lot of touches.
I agree.
If you want some like late rounds, I'm a little biased. Alan Lazard's our one.
Yes.
But if you he'll be a great steal because he'll be our 1. But if you want like a really risky rookie, Christian Watson, he'll probably be our
The injury doesn't bother you?
Christian.
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay.
If you want another one, Romeo Doubs. Yeah,
I think I'm higher on him than I
because
am
they've
Christian
been
Watson.
they've been so high on him on training in training camp. So if you want a risky kind of rookie pick, it would probably be
Dabs with who?
He's
Green
also
Bay.
with Green Bay as
Yeah,
well.
Okay.
So.
Romeo, however you say
Dobbs
it,
or
it's
something
weird.
like that. Yeah, it's like
DOUBS or
yeah, I think
something.
it's
Something like that.
Yeah.
Real quick, wide receiver who's being drafted way too late, guys. Mike Williams,
Yeah, that's
Chargers.
true.
He's going in the 6th round. He is the wide receiver 1 there with Justin Herbert. Keenan Allen is a PPR guy. He's going to catch 6 passes
And Herbert's
for 60
real
yards.
quick about Williams. The one downside I've heard about Herbert is, well, he's a gunslinger. He'll fit it in. Herbert can throw 3 picks and Williams still have great value.
Yeah,
So don't get it. They're not completely relying on each other. Herbert is going to try to fit it into some windows because he's got a cannon. He's got a little bit of Brett Favre in it, but that doesn't diminish Williams' value.
Right.
And
that's my point there. Like, if you can get Mike Williams in the 6th round, take him. Take him. Another one, just real quick, this is a homer pick for me. Rashad Bateman in the 8th round. There's basically 2 wide receiving options in Baltimore. It's Mark Andrews, and then it's Rashad Bateman. There's nobody else behind Rashad Bateman. There's guys like
Bateman's probably the red zone option of the 2.
Oh, no, I would say Mark Andrews is probably going to have more touchdowns. But Bateman has the ability to be an elite wide receiver 1. I worry about how many times they throw the ball there in Baltimore. Once again, Baltimore's running backs are still hurt from last year, so they're going to have to throw the ball more. I feel like, at least at the beginning of the year, Maybe you draft Rashad
The
Bateman
best
and then
running
cash
back
in
in
on him.
Baltimore is Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
So-
Unfortunately, you're right. So if you can get Rashad Bateman in the 8th, I'd take him. I just feel like the upside's there for him. Another running back I'd kind of be on the lookout for is probably Chase Edmonds. It's not a sexy pick. It's not.
Look, the end zone.
You're going to get him late in
Yes.
drafts. You're looking at 10th round.
He has some potential because he can catch the ball in the
He
backfield.
can catch the ball.
And
He's not going to get you a ton of yards.
Yeah.
In a PPR league like we're talking about here, it'll probably be beneficial to grab him late in the draft. Like I said, if you can get him in the 10th round, you got a good pick there. He's great at catching the ball out of the backfield. Probably not going to get you elite yards on the ground, but if he gets you 30 yards on the ground and then 5 catches for 40 yards, you've got a good week out of Chase Edmonds drafting somebody in the 10th round there. So just check out him late in the draft. I was high on Kareem Hunt before he demanded a new trade or demanded a trade or a new contract. So I'm kind of out on him now. So he was when I was looking
How
at
you
him.
gonna
Now he's
feel-
one of them I'm off the board.
Does Kareem Hunt not, and then I'll say this and we'll go to Matt, but does Kareem Hunt not seem like the next New England Patriot?
No. He doesn't want to go somewhere where he wants to share. He's still young enough.
He's going to share everywhere. He's not an RB1.
He is an RB1.
Stop it. Where? He
He-
wasn't an RB1 in Kansas City originally.
Brother, do you want me to show you his stats?
He was not-
He was
He was the RB1.
Yeah, he was the RB1.
I mean, well, for 1 year, but I mean, then he ended up in Cleveland, and I don't know that there's an NFL team that is out there looking at Kareem Hunt in
I mean, if
August,
a team
they
that-
You don't think
RB1.
that the Las Vegas Raiders would trade Josh Jacobs for Kareem Hunt in a heartbeat? Like I told you the other night, Josh Jacobs playing that much in that Hall of Fame game
I agree.
was
Jacobs
an
is out.
audition for every other NFL team.
Yeah,
Let's
no, I
please take him. What will you offer us for him?
I agree with you
Literally
about-
no other offensive starter started but Josh Jacobs, and then Josh McDaniels at the end of the game says, "I like to get running backs touches in preseason." The hell you do? You just want to put tape out there for him.
Nobody likes to give running backs touches in the preseason. What are you talking? That's the exact
Yeah.
opposite of anybody's preseason.
So I'm just saying I'm out on Kareem Hunt. I was in, but I'm out. So go ahead.
Mine's short. It's just short and sweet. I'm gonna do a complete homer pick here, and since he got hurt during the season last year, at tight end, Bob Tonyan.
I don't hate it at all.
So I'm
What's
just
the
saying
name?
it's
Sorry.
Robert
Robert
Tonyan.
Okay.
I don't hate it at all.
I mean,
Like,
we call him Bob.
yeah.
Touchdown Bob. So until he got hurt, I mean, he was a huge target for Aaron Rodgers on all the checkdowns, and
I agree.
he was always open. So, but it like I said, it's a complete homer pick. I know he's good. He's like 12th or something like that right now.
He's the tight end 24.
Yeah.
So
going in the 18th
So
round.
yeah, you're gonna get him as deep as you want to get.
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Like, he's
so,
gonna
I mean,
be.
and I
if
and
you
I
have-
and it's only because he's recovering from
He's
injury
recovering.
still.
and I would
If he
take
hadn't
him
been, he would be.
at that
He would
spot.
be.
Is
I mean,
he
he
Middle of the pack, like
Four,
I- yeah,
I mean, if
yeah,
you had to
15,
say,
yeah.
would he be the? I'm trying to think now. 4th pass catching option in Green Bay.
This year.
3rd.
Nobody
was healthy.
Nobody know who the hell is going to be the
Yeah.
pack. Like
he was
for all
healthy,
we
you
know,
know,
AJ Dillon and Aaron
I was
Jones are
putting-
going to be the number one.
I
and
was
number
putting him
two.
behind. I was putting him behind Lazard. I was putting him behind Dillon.
Who knows?
I would probably say
Aaron Jones is
yeah,
probably the
yeah.
best receiver on the team.
Yeah, Watson and Watkins, and then
Alan
Lazard,
Lazard.
and
Dillon and Jones.
yeah, Dylan Jones. I don't know. I'd probably put him.
Of course, Dillon and
He would
Jones.
probably be
You get
the
Dillon
third.
or
I was
Jones.
thinking
He's
third.
not on the field with Dillon and Jones.
Well,
He's
that-
on the
oh,
field with
yeah.
Dillon or
If
Jones.
he was healthy,
He's
if
like
he
the
was
second,
healthy,
third
he
option.
would be the second option.
Yeah, because like
And
when he
Randall
was
Cobb's
healthy,
the
he
slot.
was the second option on the team. It
So-
was like, is Devontae open? No.
Is it?
Where's
Right.
Bob?
Yeah.
Right. Where's
Bob?
is Bob around? Oh
Yeah.
shit, there's Aaron.
Yeah, it's
It's
where,
like,
well,
yeah,
it's
it's
where's
exactly what
Bob,
it
and then it's where's Randall Cobb, because Randall Cobb and Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers trusts Randall Cobb to
He-
death.
he-
I'm just
he'll
not
find
sure
it.
that he can get
Is
over
it weird
and
that
get out.
Randall Cobb is the only person on earth that can get along with Aaron Rodgers?
I think him and Devontae had a really good
Him and Devontae had a
relationship.
really good relationship.
I just didn't.
Bakhtiari.
Him and
likes
Bakhtiari
it.
have a great
Roger's
relationship.
a different dude, man.
He is.
That's all I'm saying.
He likes his
Ayahuasca. Ayahuasca, some DMT. Let's get it going. Him and Joe Rogan's gonna start hanging out there.
Yeah, and tanks and stuff. All right, so that's sort of our fantasy football minute there. Going to be a lot to come on this league. As you can hear, our strategies are vastly different. These guys have made a big trade. I'm way out in left field. I'm going to swing for the fences with the way I
Hagan's
play,
screwed. He doesn't know it, but he's screwed.
and that's fine.
Swing and miss 'em.
If I finish,
Makes me feel so much better that Parker agrees with me 100%.
and that's fine. It's not like I'm, for the first time in the history of the show, I've come on and disagree with Ryan and Parker, right? I mean, as my dogs are even going nuts downstairs. They have
Because they know how
Well,
wrong you are.
that's. Oof.
Anyway,
His strategies are out.
all right, let's flip and break it, and then the world of wrestling is on its head. Let's talk some RASSLIN. That's wrestling. I don't know what the hell's in anybody's cups at this point, but the bourbon of the month is Heaven Hill Quality House Old Style Bourbon, 80 proof.
We all stopped
cheap,
drinking it.
but
I've had
yeah.
two.
Well, there's Broken
I do
Barrel,
too.
there's whatever y'all have. I don't know, but it's still bourbon of the month, and it still is
It's still not
good.
bad. I'm just done with
Put
it.
it with Coke and drink it. It's $25, whatever.
Just drink it.
Just drink it. All right, guys. Well, we're all wrestling fans. I was not in attendance at the Huff House. I was invited for SummerSlam. Was not able to make it. Shout out Soccer is life for the next couple
Well, let's
of
just
months.
point out that Parker wasn't at the Huff House during SummerSlam.
Oh
too.
yeah, no, that's
Let's
a fair
just point
point.
that
Parker,
out.
tell the folks where you were. I forgot about all
Yeah,
that.
well, I was not at the Huff House during SummerSlam. I was actually at SummerSlam.
Yeah, you
So I was
were.
at Nissan
Because it was
Stadium.
in Nashville, just a
Yeah.
couple hours away where we're recording here. so-
Okay, so here's before we go into SummerSlam and Vince and Triple H and his wife,
It's just everything that's been
and
going on.
in the world, Parker. Much more importantly, SummerSlam ended at what, about 10 in Nashville? I'm trying to get.
It was 11.
Okay, 11. That's early for Broadway. So, what was the game plan afterwards? What happened afterwards? Did you hit Broadway? Don't disappoint the masses here.
Well,
They came
Nashville-
home, right?
It's a big
Well, I'm
disappointment.
here ready. I'm going to disappoint everybody.
Oh, damn it! No.
Nope. I got in the car and went straight home because
Oh man.
I was not dealing with anything else.
Okay. All right.
We kind of like did a lot of. We got there like 12.
Okay.
Super early.
Like super early. So we kind of like did a lot of pregame.
Okay,
So
all right.
after SummerSlam, we were all ready to just head home.
Okay, here's the thing. I've done a lot of traveling by virtue of what I've done for a living for the last 15 years. I've been to most of the states that I care to go to, with the exception of I'm kind of missing this chunk in the Northeast that I want to see at some point.
Right.
But
I'm there with you.
so New York, Boston, I've done Philly, but I've seen a lot of Nashville. I've seen a lot of Vegas. I've seen a lot of cities of that sort of ilk. Nashville is yeah.
Thank you. I didn't know what you were talking
So I will say Nashville is my favorite city to spend a weekend in, or a Friday or Saturday night in. I am a big Broadway guy. Shout out Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, my favorite Broadway bar. A little disappointed you didn't come back with a Broadway story, but that's okay. I understand. As I go to knock stuff over, I understand, youngin, that you had to come home and go and get tucked into bed. So I get it.
Matt and our wives have been to Nashville on several occasions, and we can go to Nashville and have a great time and never touch Broadway.
Exactly.
I
feel
think Broadway
Broadway's
gets too
overrated.
much heat. I think if Broadway gets too much heat. I'm a big Broadway guy. I like live music. Here's
I'm not
why.
a hater
No.
of Broadway.
I think here's why I like
What it is we found the hidden gems that haven't been found yet,
I'm a big
and I'm
live
not
music
giving them
guy.
out to any of you guys. So don't
I
worry.
think I'm a big Broadway guy because I'm such into live music. Austin, Texas, I was huge on. I will give a hidden gem away. New Braunfels, Texas, on the Guadalupe River is good for a little pop in occasionally of a big star at a dive bar. I love live music, and so I am a big Broadway guy. I could sit at the second floor of Tootsie's Orchid Lounge and listen to a jam bar or a jam band and eat a burger. I love their burgers, and buy $10 Michelobes all night and just be.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
My wife is.
we
my wife
always
likes-
go to a place that's off Broadway that has live music and has fantastic, top-notch food.
I will say I would be up for if we're ever there together. I also do a.
Well, I'll tell you off air, but
during
I'm
the
not
day,
telling you.
during the
here.
day, I'm a big fan. There's a speakeasy down there. It's a code word speakeasy. That's my spot for lunch. I have a little block off Broadway hotel I like staying at that I also, it's definitely an off air. That's my little spot up the hill there. But I enjoy a crowd. Like here's the thing, when I'm going to Vegas or when I'm going to Austin or when I'm going to Nashville or wherever, I like the crowd. I'm there for the environment and just the insanity of it all.
This place we go is packed, but
I know.
about
Listen,
it.
I'm sure I know there's hidden gems in Nashville, and I'd be all about going. My wife likes Aldean's. Aldean's is almost too much just because it's that big. With Luke Bryan's place right next to it and stuff, but. I'm a Tootsie's guy. Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, second floor. Spent a lot of afternoons there waiting on flights to go back to work with my previous employer. Eating a burger, having a beer, listening to a band. Love it. There's one in the Nashville airport as well. Big fan of it. If you fly to the B terminal from Southwest.
We always go to Tootsie's when we fly out of B&A.
So anyway. That's
back to SummerSlam.
Yeah, back to SummerSlam. Big Nashville guy. So Parker, you were there. Give us biggest pop of the night.
Biggest pop besides your usual Roman. Like Roman always gets a great pop, but
he's a heel.
Like crazy pop. But it was kind of like the Bailey returning.
Yep.
That was such a huge surprise for everybody that place went insane when her music hit.
So something I want to bring up is when you're watching it on TV, when Logan Paul came out, it was a huge pop.
Yeah.
But when you were in the stadium, I saw a video that you posted, there was a lot of boos.
A lot of boos.
A lot of boos. They booed him.
He's not the most popular person. He's got a lot of heat for really no reason, to be honest with you. But he's
a jerk.
But
I don't know that he's a jerk. I think
Logan
he's
Paul.
extravagant and a social media guy, and that gets a lot of heat.
But
I don't know that he's
he
an
got
actual
booed.
jerk.
Of course, I was cheering him.
His match was amazing.
Yeah. I think he kind of won the crowd over after he's done because they were cheering him after he won.
How is it that WWE, which throughout its history, and you're familiar with a lot of WWE history, Matt's watched forever, they've been about stars outside of wrestling forever.
Yeah.
Right? Mr. T is on your
literally
WrestleMania shirt there. Yeah. WWE's been about celebrity forever. Have they hit on two celebrities that can work? Like Logan Paul and Pat McAfee? Are you serious?
Back to back.
Insane. My goodness, both of those guys. Now, and maybe you can help me with this. I don't know who trained Logan Paul. Pat McAfee worked with Rip Rogers, is who trained him, and Rip Rogers is trained. Name your star, but I don't know who trained Logan Paul.
I couldn't tell you.
A lot of it, though, his damn charisma, I mean, the athletic ability is the athletic ability. At the end of the day, you can train a chimpanzee if they're athletic to do moves.
Right.
His charisma, his ring presence,
and
is unquestionably higher than anybody could have assumed it was going to be.
Yeah.
I
think that may have came from because he was a Disney star for a while. He does YouTube now, and he was got huge off of Vine while it was popular.
Right before TikTok.
TikTok, of course, now he's got like his own podcast, and he's got like his own even hydration drink and everything. So all this stuff, this kind of like his charisma is.
But
the reason why
he
sells all
freaking
that
gets
stuff.
it, man.
Yeah.
And I was of the opinion, and I was wrong about this. I've pretty much batted 0 on WWE opinions for the year after the Cody strikeout, but, and which I've owned several times. But I was not of the opinion that Logan Paul would sign a WWE contract just because
I never thought he would.
of the amount. I mean, Logan Paul's got more money than the federal government. He doesn't. You know what I mean?
No, let's take it back. He's made a couple of actually more than a couple of bad investments that cost him several millions
I
of
agree,
dollars
and that matters.
between NFTs and the fake Pokemons that he bought. Like that, like you can't discredit those because I think he's a guy that lives pretty liquid. I don't think he's making a lot of investments in stock markets. I think he's making a lot of investments in NFTs and sports cards, which have come out of nowhere, and Pokemon cards too.
Yeah.
And he's made a couple of really bad investments that cost him millions of dollars. So I
was still surprised that he went under contract. And listen, the WWE is a publicly traded $1 billion company.
Yeah.
When they get ready to pay somebody, they'll pay somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not doubt that they have the ability to cut a check here. Okay. I'm not saying he's working for peanuts. I'm just surprised that he wasn't a guy that just said, I'm going to do Mania and the 3 Raws before it.
I think they realized how good he was, and I think he realized how good he was, and he was like, maybe I can turn this into something.
He's legit. Matt, I mean, you've been watching wrestling longer than I have. Logan Paul's legit.
Well, I was sitting there trying to think, you were talking through celebrities, and I was trying to think of some of the celebrities that actually had performed as well as he did. And man, you got to go way back to, you're talking like wrestlers, or not wrestlers, football players that made the kind of the switch. You're talking like Lawrence Taylor, or wrestled Mongo, which went on to have a really good career, became a 4 Horseman.
Or like Wahoo.
Yeah, you're talking like, long ago.
I want to talk to somebody.
You're talking about somebody that is, in the spotlight now.
Yeah.
LT was, but I'm just saying.
What about Stephen Amell, who kind of had a one-off, but he was fantastic.
But even the LT stuff, when you go back, I mean, they covered a lot of that up with Bam Bam.
Yeah,
they did.
I didn't see.
Then you also got to say, then the Miz selling his stuff too. You've got to have Miz. You've got to have guy
he had a dance
long time. That's why he said such a long career.
He had a dance partner.
You've got to have a good dance partner.
Absolutely.
And you've got to have that chemistry together. And that's what works in wrestling.
I'm not saying that
the Miz is a great seller.
And I'm not saying that Logan Paul is Ric Flair that could have a match with a broomstick in the 80s. I'm saying that he had a dance partner and he went out there with a job to do, and by God did it.
Yeah.
So did Pat McAfee.
He did better than most celebrities that say, I'm just doing this to make a little bit of money. And he went out there to say, I'm going out there and I'm going to do my.
Can we?
It wasn't the Johnny Knoxville.
No.
Which was a great match.
Oh, well, it was entertaining.
Match.
Yes,
It was a gimmick.
Yes, and it was a great entertaining match.
I think the best compliment that I can give Logan Paul is that, and it's the biggest thing that I'm surprised about, he takes this seriously.
Yeah.
Logan Paul takes wrestling seriously, and good on him. I
feel like Pat McAfee does the same thing, though.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I think they struck gold. McAfee, first of all,
do not take him off the announcer's table.
Oh, no. McAfee on commentary, and even Michael Cole, and I don't know if there's been a more polarizing person to ever do commentary in wrestling that is more hated than Michael Cole, that has had more vents in his ear forever.
We were literally talking about that on the way over here.
And I hate that for Cole, because I have no idea what he looks like without that. And
we're about to find out.
And thank God now we get to find out. But Cole has even said, Pat McAfee has made me enjoy work again.
Yes.
Like it's just, McAfee is so damn entertaining. He's so entertaining. He just is so excited, and and it's amazing what you get with 2 stars that are independent stars. And McAfee has said some of the most entertaining shit, and it's amazing what you get when you have stars that are bought in and want to be there. Neither
Exactly.
one of those guys need that check. Can
no.
we agree? Logan Paul might have made a couple bad investments,
Yeah.
but he ain't on food stamps.
Yeah.
Right?
Pat McAfee, when Pat McAfee gets excited, he's excited.
Yeah.
Oh,
He is a-
yeah.
It's
he is
legit.
a-
standing
Like,
on the
it's
table.
legit.
He's one of us. He's
Oh,
a fan
yeah.
and a mark, which what they call in the business is somebody that just like goes ape shit over everything.
Yeah.
But it's
And I
genuine.
love
It's
it.
100%
I
genuine
love
that
it.
what
You
he
know
does.
what it
You know
reminds
what? You
me-
know why you love
Sorry,
it?
go ahead.
You know why you love it? Because it's something that we can relate to. It's something
Yeah.
like
You know
when
what he
gets
reminds
excited,
me
it's something
of?
that we get excited
If
about.
you watch old Crockett, and I cannot believe, God, I hope Zoom doesn't hear this. I'll never hear the end of it. The Crockett that did announcing with Shivani on the old, he sounded like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, Matt.
That's
He
what
would
I'm
sound like excited. And here's the thing is, I don't know if Pat McAfee has to finish the matches before the show. I assume he does. I'm sure he's got a 10-page script in front of him.
Or at
but
least he did.
he
He may not now, but at least he did.
McAfee finishes to matches like he doesn't know what's coming.
Yeah.
And maybe he doesn't, maybe he doesn't, it doesn't matter. But he gives you the finish like he's seeing it and can't believe it.
That's
To me, right now, with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, they're a step below the gold standard, which is me is prime Lawler and JR.
Right.
And I mean, to me, that's just my childhood. They are the prime. But they are right there with it.
Yeah.
Like they are a great combo.
I've been watching this video over and over. Just the excitement in Pat McAfee's voice and Michael Cole's voice of just watching them when Liv Morgan just comes down and catches. I've watched that video so many times because you could tell they're actually excited and like they're like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. Like what we're doing in our house. Like, oh my gosh, she's actually cashing in.
And,
Can she actually do it?
shout out
Yeah.
to Cole for, I don't know. Listen, guys, I don't know if Michael Cole's a good wrestling announcer. I have no idea. But shout out to him for saying, I dealt with this for so long with Vince at Gorilla just in his ear, just screaming at him. And I have worked for employers before where I hated going to work. And I feel like Michael Cole was probably at that point.
I literally said that.
And I am so glad that he has the opportunity to A, not have Vince in his ear, and B, have Pat McAfee sit next to him losing his mind. And whatever's left of Cole's run, whether it be 5 years or 20, I hope that we get to see Michael Cole because, you know, there was a guy that was doing interviews in the back and in your house and worked his way all the way up to be the lead commentary on Raw and got just bombarded with Vince's micromanagement.
Oh, inside the box and all. Oh my God.
For decades. And you know, we're gonna get to Vince next, but God, I hope they turn him loose. It's either good or it's bad.
But
Let's see it.
It's like I told Matt and Parker on the way over here. Like I'm excited to see Michael Cole without a script that he has to read and him not have to worry about if he goes offline one sentence. Vince in his ear goes,
Or somebody
read the dang script.
or somebody hits a frog splash or a big hurricane rana, and in the middle of it, Vince has Cole selling the pay-per-view instead of what's in front of him on the monitor.
You can tell he's having so much fun right now is because when they were doing the setup for McAfee and Corbin, when McAfee got hurt and Cole was up yelling at Corbin, and I know, and it was, and I mean, like you could tell that there really wasn't anybody in his headset. He was just going off of what he was feeling like and calling him names and everything and telling him to get off of him. You know, if that had been Vince, he would have been sitting there doing all that. But he was standing up, doing the screaming and yelling, and you can tell he's actually. It's the old Michael
I don't
Cole. He's having a
think
little bit of
Michael
fun.
Cole is anything that we've seen the last 20 years.
No.
I just cannot believe, or maybe 10. Anyway,
at least since they went TV PG.
yeah. So let's talk about the $12 million elephant in the room. For the first time in any of our lives, well,
Not Matt.
I guess Matt was alive when Vince Jr. bought the company. I guess
I was live. I wasn't watching WWF.
Yeah, at the time.
At the time.
When Bruno was selling out the garden.
Yeah.
So
Bruno San Martino, for those that don't know.
Yeah, so Vince is out. I would prefer, unless anybody has a strong objection, I don't really care about. Hang on, let me rephrase that. I'm not saying I don't care. The reasons why he's out are what they are. I think that there are people out there that feel wronged, and I hope that they get what makes them feel right about the situation. And we'll go from there and say, from a wrestling standpoint and a business standpoint, because this podcast is never shied away from talking about the business of the business. WWE, as of the latest thing I saw, and you guys, whatever, if you saw the latest trend on Twitter that I've missed, they're revising earnings sheets because there were payments for non-disclosure agreements made that were not reported on earnings sheets for a publicly traded company. Now, I don't give a damn if you wrote those NDAs because somebody took your peanuts or because you had fun on the company jet. That's a no-no, okay? The Security Exchange Commission frowns on reporting false numbers to your stockholders. Ryan, you and I have talked about this. Yep. Matt, you and I have talked about this. I don't want to recap the whole Vince situation because we'd be an hour just talking about all the changes that have gone through it. Vince, for the first time since this whole thing broke, has a potential in my mind for legal action. Before, I think it was all WWE internal business. Reporting false numbers to your stockholders is not an internal issue. That is a federal crime. Matt, we'll go to you first. That the world without Vince, the situation in WWE, whatever you want to say about it, there's a lot to unpack. Go ahead.
Not sure if this goes to court, like as in against the federal government, the SEC, if he's going to beat the federal government like he did with steroids. He doesn't have a key witness like Hulk Hogan to just sit up there and go, I didn't buy them from him. I didn't get them from him. I got them from somebody else. So he doesn't have that. That being said, it's almost funny though, and I've been thinking about this just while you were talking and like on the ride over here, because I knew we were going to talk about this. Vince is kind of in the same position as his old man was. Mm-hmm. Whereas, and I'm going to say the company. I'm going to say the company because somebody now is taking over something that was dying, and Vince was just kind of like out of touch with what was going on. 100%. And now his son-in-law and his daughter are going to take over and try to breathe some fresh, life into this thing. Whereas what he did with his dad's company, and then bought up all the territories. But his dad's company was done.
Bought up all the territories.
Well,
he went in and got their TV and ran them out of their business. But
which is buying it up. I mean, listen, if you buy up your market share, their TV market share, then you bought it. But he's in the same position that he did to his dad. And pretty much now his dad was like, I'm out of it now. Same thing's happened to him. He's out of it now. Triple H, Stephanie run the show. And let's hope that they can do what he did in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, that rejuvenate the whole thing. And let's get us a little bit of wrestling wars going back again. A little AEW versus WWE. I'm all for it because the only people that benefit from that are us four sitting right here.
Absolutely, the fans. Yep, I agree with that. Ryan, go ahead. I'll go last on this, and we're all speculating, so
absolutely.
there's nobody's wrong here any more than anybody else. So go ahead.
I'm super excited for what's about to happen with WWE. I think, unfortunately, it's going to have a detriment on AEW because I don't know with Triple H running the show, with Triple H and Stephanie and Nick Khan, but I really think the creative is going to Triple H 100%. That it's going to be a completely different show. It's going to be. He's already brought back Karrion Kross and the best female wrestler ever, Scarlett Bordeaux.
Thank you, Triple H.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not mad that he brought back Cross and Bordeaux,
much.
but to call her anyway. Go ahead, you're an idiot.
Hagan and I look at female wrestling completely different, but anyway.
Yeah, I look at female wrestling and you look at she's pretty. Go ahead, you're an idiot.
But it's going to be a completely different show in 3 to 6 months. He can't make complete changes
it's
over
gonna
a
You can't
night.
turn the Titanic on a dime.
No, it's not going to
It's gonna
take.
take a lot.
Yeah, in 3 to 6 months, I think you see a completely different product. That's going to be what we saw when we were younger. But I think when Cody comes back from injury, he goes back to his big push. I expect to see a triple threat at Clash of the Castle between Karrion Kross, Drew McIntyre, and Roman Reigns, which I cannot wait. I think that'd be awesome. That'd be a great match. Karrion Kross, somebody who was great in NXT, got pushed under the rug when he got his main roster pull up, come out of some stupid gladiator that Vince wanted him to be, which was god awful. But
No wonder they released him the first time.
but I can't wait. I also expect to see not only some wrestlers come back, like supposedly Bray Wyatt's already in talk. Can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah.
We were talking on the way over here. We expect Johnny Gargano to be back to renew his rivalry with Tommaso, who's getting a big push already.
Tommaso needs to get away from the Miz.
Well,
I love the Miz. I
He's
love the
going
Miz,
to.
and I love Tommaso. But
But
Tommaso and Highlighter
But
was
if you
stupid.
put Tommaso with the Miz, it's like we were just talking with Logan Paul. Who else do you put him with? Who better can you put him with to push him over? Because the Miz is going to sell
Tommaso's
for
a
him.
killer. The
Yeah.
Miz is a seller.
Exactly.
Which
You're
which
making
will
my
end up
point.
being that turn where
Yeah.
he goes against
Yeah.
the Miz and
Yeah.
it'll
It'll be
I just
great.
hate
It'll
seeing
be
him in
great.
the stupid
But
Highlighter.
Johnny expect Johnny Gargano to come back. Some guys behind the scene, like we were talking about, Road Dogg, probably coming back as some kind of producer or booker or something like that. Don't be surprised if they bring back Shane now that Vince is gone.
Yeah.
And Shawn Michaels is going to have a huge role.
I think we were talking on the way over here. Triple H has got to have somebody that he trusts to push NXT in a different way. And I expect to be Shawn Michaels
Here's
in
the
NXT.
thing. Vince surrounded himself with guys he trusts. Johnny Ace, who he throws paralegals at, and Bruce, who he throws donuts at. And so Triple H is going to do the same thing.
Yeah, he's going to put guys in positions that he trusts. He just is, and that's why I said, like, we were talking that, and it's not beyond the belief here that Shawn Michaels could help with either Raw or SmackDown. But I just thought Triple H say, hey, take NXT, do what we were doing with it when it was the yellow and black, get it back to there. You run development. I'm going to take care of Raw and SmackDown because he trusts him. He knows he can do what he does. But that's what I'm thinking. Like, I am so excited for WWE. It's the most excited I've been, and I can't even remember when. Probably when I was in high school or right after. So I'm excited.
Yeah, to kind of keep it a little short and sweet, because you guys kind of hit on all the points that I was even going to make anyway. I'm just beyond excited to see what H is going to do, because NXT was playing my favorite thing for the longest time.
When it was Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa,
it was amazing watching every week.
Even Samoa Joe down there.
So I'm excited to see who maybe he brings back, and maybe even some people that like have left and actually went to AEW. Maybe there's also been some rumors.
Well, there's one big one.
Yeah.
One huge one.
Talking about Brian Danielson?
No, MJF.
Yeah. Because if you can get like a huge star to jump back over from AEW or get one of their originals, that would be a huge momentum shift.
I'll tell you another one that you might want to watch out for making the jump back, and that's Rusev or Miro.
Yeah.
All right. Well, nothing like sunny skies and 80-degree temperatures and a power outage. So for no apparent reason, we just lost everything, and luckily, Parker pulled one to save the entire show. Thankfully, good on you with that one. But we left off with Matt making a comment about Miro. We'll hit that, and then we will. Nothing. Not fuck.
There's your lead in.
All right. Well, I don't know what's going to make air, what's not. I don't know. Guys, we're experiencing.
I've got some work to do after we get
the power's gone out. We've had connectivity issues. We've been drinking for a couple hours. Who the hell knows what makes air?
Hagan lost the first event of decathlon.
Look.
It's just been a bad day for him.
Matt, your final thoughts on whatever the hell's going on with wrestling. You're the last one, and then we'll go to me. Did you guys already?
I don't know what's going on.
I
can briefly touch on something.
Okay, go Parker after Matt. Go ahead.
I'll just say that, just like we said, we kind of like a recap. Super excited for what's going to go on because we got new people's driving the ship, and for WWE, and it's just we're in a whole new era of WWE wrestling. So,
And I expect Vince's shares to be sold sooner rather than later.
Okay, yeah, that's
I really do.
that one.
We'll see. Let me just. This is kind of my 30,000-foot overview. I don't expect a wrestling war, no matter what. I think AEW has decided to be a niche. They're going to appeal to the same hardcore fans every week. If you read the dirt sheets and you're inside and you get all their little stupid references and you enjoy matches with a lot of pointing in them and all that shit.
He's like trying to make fun of me or something.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. There will be things on AEW I enjoy. When Peck comes back, there'll be things on AEW I enjoy. And you know what? You're just going to have to take AEW for what it is.
Sure.
It's a niche product for smart fans. And there's about, apparently, 800,000 of those, give or take a week, that are willing to watch their TV show. And congratulations, young Bucks fans.
WWE's ratings have spiked since Vince
But
left.
here's what I want to say. Congratulations, Young Bucks fans. You got your TV show. All 800,000 of you watch, enjoy. They'll hold down anybody that they think might be even the smallest threat to them. And so that's what you'll get. And it'll appeal to the same people it does every week. So we all had a chance for a true alternative, and we didn't get it. So AEW is not a threat to WWE. They had a chance to be, and they're not. They're a niche product.
And they're going to start losing talent now too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the talent will be. There's always going to be, no matter who's running either company, there's always going to be disgruntled talent in both companies. I don't give a damn who runs what. There will be somebody upset in both companies.
Oh,
so that
always.
being said, the talent will go back and forth. I just think that AEW's decided they don't want to be an alternative. They want to be a niche. Tony Khan is the people he's decided to listen to appeal to the niche hardcore fans. And that's fine if you don't want to grow past the same 800,000 people that watch your show every week. And that's fine. Enjoy.
I do think the old saying is going to come to fruition here. Like, I think the cream is going to rise to the top, and I think the top is going to be the WWE.
Well,
they're going to get their top guys back. They're going to get
but
WWE is going to get the guys that they want back,
But again,
or to the first
here's
place,
the
like
thing,
MJF.
if you go back to the original WWE Wrestling War, which was not WWE WCW, it was WWF Crockett, and anybody who was with Crockett that's ever done an interview will tell you they didn't lose that war in the ring. They lost it in the office. They lost it because Vince had a tower full of people in Connecticut right outside of New York, and Crockett had a half dozen people in an abandoned warehouse in Briarbend Drive in North Carolina, and they lost it in the office. They lost it in production. They lost it in the WWF has not, or WWE has not lost the ability to do all of those things, regardless who runs it.
Did Crockett lose it or Turner lose it?
No, Crockett.
Because AOL Time
Well,
Warner.
no. I'm talking about in '88 when Crockett sold Turner.
Well, that's
I'm talking about the original loss. Then Turner bought Crockett, turned it into WCW, and then that we go down the line. But what I'm saying is like Shivani, Jim Ross, all those guys will tell you they didn't lose that war in the ring. They lost it in the office. I don't. As far as WWE, it's all positive because a wrestling guy is in charge of creative again. You can't turn the Titanic on a dime. You also cannot ignore the fact that it is a publicly traded company now. There is a bottom line to answer to. There is still a guy on the executive board that's there to sell the company, in my opinion. Nick Khan did not go away. He's just...
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I still don't think it's going to be sold now.
Okay, whatever. I don't think you hire a guy like that unless you're selling the
Who
company.
hired him?
It was
Vince didn't hire him. No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes. The board got him hired to sell the company. And when they couldn't get the company sold, they got Vince out of the way. So
Vince got himself.
Yeah. I don't agree with that.
Stop. That shit happened years ago. The reason it came out now, yes.
How many years?
Multiple. More than one. And the reason it came out when it came out is because somebody decided that it was time for it to be public knowledge. I'm not going to argue about who the name is. That's purely speculation. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I'm just saying, if you think it's Stephanie or you think it's Nick Khan or you think it's the CEO of the Atlanta Hawks who's on one of their boards, it doesn't matter. Or the president of Barstool Sports who's on one of their boards or whatever. And I'm not talking about Dave Portnoy. I'm talking about
his boss.
The woman that runs Barstool Sports. All of those people are on boards, and none of them give a shit about wrestling. They all care about making money. And I think that when they went to sell the company and Vince wouldn't sell, they got him out of the way. And all you guys look at wrestling, and I'm looking at an executive board looking to make money. I don't give a shit about who hits a headlock, and neither does the CEO of Barstool. Okay? They don't care. They're on that board to make money, not because they care about MJF, right? So
just remember, everybody watching and listening, that Hagan's wrong more often than he's right. So
okay,
you should listen to the other three.
That's fine. I'm not talking about creative for wrestling. I'm talking about this company's for sale. It's been for sale. It's.
I'm not sure for sale anymore.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway,
I'm gonna speak for us too because I can see it. I'm pretty sure Parker's on the same page. So it's us three say we agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But go right ahead.
That's fine. I don't think a lot changes in the day-to-day operations if it sells. I can't imagine somebody buying the company and putting somebody else besides Triple H in charge of creative. Who would they have that would be a better option? I don't think that I'm not saying that somebody's going to buy it and turn it into worlds different. I mean, they can't find more experience than what's already there. And they're not going to find a wrestling executive producer with more years doing the job than Kevin Dunn. Okay, I'm just saying that I think from a financial standpoint, the company's for sale. And when you start talking about billions with a B, it makes shit happen. And I think that's what happened here. But
so if you're so,
I don't know
if you're so hell bent, like who buys it?
Oh, any number. I mean, it could be somebody but here's what you
I
have
don't think
to
it's that
hang
many
on.
people.
Stop. Here's what you don't understand. It could be a conglomerate. The Rock did not just buy the XFL. The Rock is the figurehead for the group that bought the XFL.
But they bought it super cheap.
I agree with you.
Which is
But
also kind of like another story.
it could be 3 hedge funds,
I don't think so.
or it doesn't. But you don't know that because you're not in those meetings, Ryan. Gosh
Which-
damn it.
okay,
Stop
it's-
talking
it's not
about
gonna-
things you have no.
It's not going to be Disney.
Wait a minute. You're just telling people to stop talking about things you don't know about, but you're just sitting there
But I'm
telling us.
speculating, and he's
So
still
why
like,
can't we
"We
speculate?
Because he's saying things he can't possibly know. I don't know that there's that many.
But you don't know it's for sale.
Because
Have you seen a fucking for sale sign out in
Here's
front of
what I-
Connecticut?
here's what I know is that there's more people out there that would buy with this. God. Here's what I know.
21. Ching. Call me.
I'm just telling you, there's
The
not.
Go My Team podcast sponsored by or brought to you by Broken Barrel Whiskey.
We
Say
got-
whatever the hell you want to say.
We got.
It's fine. No, you guys know everybody that could possibly buy the WWE.
No, I know nobody.
Disney and Fox.
I know
Go ahead.
nobody.
No.
I
There's
know nobody
no,
that
there's
buy.
no billionaire Saudi that's been buying shows for the last 5
It's
years.
not going to be bought out by them
Listen.
How
it's
do
true.
you know?
That's what I'm
Stop
saying.
talking.
That's what I'm saying.
How
I
do you
don't
know that?
because
Stop talking.
if
How
that-
do you know that?
if that happens, then there's no more women's division.
Did you what? Do you think they give a shit about that,
Yeah.
buddy? I work
There's
for
some-
Saudis every day, and there's
Right.
women that work there.
Okay.
What are you talking about? They know. They understand how to own something in the United States. They let women perform in their country. They just
How many women wear bikinis at your job?
They understand how to own something in the United States. You're a baker. You might want to understand this. They understand how to own something in this country.
Feels personal every time.
Look,
I haven't.
That's
I
why it's not
haven't-
gonna-
I haven't-
it's-
We haven't attacked you personally yet. We're just saying.
because it blows my mind that you guys think that there's like, oh, there's of course there's nobody out there that can buy the WWE, so it can't possibly be
No.
for sale.
No,
I didn't say there's nobody.
Let me. You're putting words in my mouth now. So now, I never once said there's nobody out there. I said I have no idea who it'd be, and you said the exact same thing. You don't know who could buy it. But there not once have they actually come out publicly and said this is for sale. You are
That's not how
speculating.
you
No,
do it.
stop for a second. You stop talking.
God.
So now you got to understand that we're all speculating on what we think. These are all our
You
opinions.
don't. When
But
is
you're
the last
saying
time
you.
you
Don't
saw-
stop saying you.
Oh my
Stop
God.
saying you.
You're acting like you don't sell $1 billion company on Facebook Marketplace. You're not going to see a sign out front.
Did I say
This
that?
stuff. You're just saying.
I was making.
They've
I
not
was making
once.
listen, if you
They've
can't
not once-
separate satire
No.
from realism,
Here's what I'm talking
we're
about,
in
Matt.
trouble.
You just said they've not once publicly come out and said it's for sale. No shit.
No, but have they?
Why would they? That's
So-
not how you sell a publicly
but-
traded company.
But is it? But eventually, you just said it's publicly traded, right?
Yes, and
Okay,
you have to
and
disclose
then-
when it's sold,
Oh,
not
and-
when it's
no,
for
but
sale.
you also got to tell your stockholders stuff that other things.
You do not have to tell them it's for sale. You have to tell them when it's sold. That's how that works. That's law. I don't know. There's no arguing that. You have to disclose what goes on the earnings statements, which is what they're in
Yeah.
trouble for now.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say.
Selling the company will be on an earnings statement.
With the things that are coming to light with the SEC, it definitely prolongs the for sale process.
Absolutely, because there's an investigation. When
Yes.
you sell a publicly traded company, there has to be an SEC investigation.
So-
That's how it works.
And with Vince's thing with taking funds for private use, it's going to prolong it even more.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm saying it's not for sale now, because they can't. They literally can't sell it right now.
I don't know that they can't. I think it would be a process. It certainly would be a process. But
And I'm just
these
saying
sales don't happen
there's
overnight
maybe a
anyway. Look,
handful of companies that would want to buy this
because
niche product.
this is my point. You're looking at companies. There could be a conglomerate of hedge funds I've never heard of, you've never heard of. Nobody knows anything about it, and then they go.
But how many of those are
I have
interested
no
in
idea,
professional
but
wrestling?
here's my point. They're interested in making money. Let me finish. They're interested in making money. And if they say there's 10 hedge funds, we're all going to go in together, and Stephanie's our figurehead. Stephanie bought the WWE. No, Stephanie didn't buy shit. Stephanie is the figurehead, just like The Rock's the figurehead for who bought XFL. My point is, there is an unlimited amount of buyers based on who wants to pull their money together. It's not as unheard of as you think. Could it be Disney or Fox or whatever? Sure. Or it could be 40 people you've never heard of and one figurehead.
Exactly.
And the number of those that there are, I have no
They're
idea.
exponential.
There are
They're exponential.
dozens. But to say that you cannot, how many people would want to buy? I have no idea, but there's a lot more than you realize.
Here's the
I'm telling
alternative.
you
I don't
right
think
now.
there are.
Here's the alternative to that, and I agree with everything you said. That there are people out there that we don't know about. There's companies, and all of it's speculation. Here's the other speculation: that it's not for sale at all anymore. That's the other speculation. Now, whether you agree with it or not, like I agree with that it's for sale or not, it's the same thing. And if I have to accept what you say, as in the speculation that all these, different people out there, which there are, it could be a group of 30 or 3 or 300 that want to buy this company. True. But then you also have to accept the fact that there's a chance that it's not for sale. Also.
I just feel like you guys are overlooking the entire reason Nick Khan was brought in.
I think that was the original plan.
I agree.
I think that was the original plan.
This is what
I think that was the original plan. I do.
But out.
But Vince is not there.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Like that's
They
a
brought in
complete
Nick Khan.
180
Yeah, they brought in Nick Khan. They released all these wrestlers, and
to make the bottom line look better.
Bottom line look better.
I agree.
And
originally, I think that was the plan.
Then Triple H knew and Stephanie take over, and they literally bring back two, like at least that I know of now, 2 of the wrestlers they originally released. Why would you do that if you're trying to do if you're bringing in Nick Khan for that reason?
I will finally say this. Matt, you're right. We'll agree to disagree. I think I will say one thing that we'll all agree on. This is just from a creative standpoint. Please, WWE, please. And this has Vince written all over it. So hopefully to God this goes away. Stop acting like we haven't seen guys already on NXT. Every time someone goes from NXT to the main roster, they do not need a new name, a completely new
Vince
thing.
thing.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
that's what I said. I agree.
Okay.
Like and Karrion Kross is a prime example. Karrion Kross looks like a Greek god. He's obviously could be a top guy tomorrow if he's pushed that way, presented that way. Great worker, passable promo, the guy that's endless and gets over big in NXT as a top guy and is brought to the main roster, and Vince acts like no one's ever. NXT is literally on the same network now as Raw. Literally the same network on another night, and you have to act
Who's
like
this guy?
we've never seen this man before in our life.
He's a gladiator
this is
now.
A gladiator. Like
freaking Walter.
yeah.
Who's made a good push now?
Like, I'm
They
saying,
gave him a good push.
they have these guys, they get them over, but Vince is still stuck on that's
But
developmental.
Vince is gone.
No,
Like,
I understand, but that's what I'm saying.
I-
Vince was stuck on that's
I know,
developmental.
and I think
this
I think you're stuck on the company's for sale. I think it was
I
for
was done
sale.
talking about that. Matt, hit your boy. I'm talking about creative.
Well, I brought up Nick Khan, and you just completely skipped over it. And I was like,
Because he's there to sell the cup. Are we getting back on this?
No, we're not.
What I said, and you just went, oh, NXT was like he got originally brought in to sell the company, like you said, speculative. Yeah. Anyway,
Because none of us know anything.
because none of us really know anything at all. And then Triple H and Stephanie take over, and they bring back guys that they released before. Why is that? If they were trying to sell the company,
If they're worried about the bottom line, why are they bringing?
Why are
back
they bringing
release
back
I
rates?
think bringing back 1 or 2 is not bringing back.
What about when you
numbers
bring
that they
back
caught
Bray
that
Wyatt
they cut.
and Johnny Gargano?
Yeah,
I
but
mean, the
that's
numbers
just
that
now.
they cut were not.
Triple H has been in charge for 2 weeks. He's
Yeah,
brought
but
back
When
he's
they
not
bring
bringing
back
back-
Bray Wyatt, he will be one of the top
I'm
3
not
paid guys.
God,
Hagan.
I'm not arguing that they're going to bring people back. Bringing a few guys back is not cutting the roster back. Parker, how many guys do you think they cut? Legit.
Oh,
God.
at least I'm gonna say put them at least
50.
at like 50.
Yeah.
Okay. And bringing back one or two that were, you don't think out of 50 they cut some guys that they
No,
shouldn't have?
they
I mean,
definitely
sure,
cut some guys
clearly,
that they should have.
Gargano, Cross.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like,
They shouldn't have cut them. They
Most
should
of
have never let Rusev leave.
Yeah, most of them went over to AEW.
and I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, just by bringing back a couple doesn't mean that he's bringing back every name that cut.
He's bringing back the ones that matter.
The ones that
Yes.
he can as well.
And that's what I'm saying. The ones that can draw money for the company.
Yeah, so why release them in the first place?
I agree. I didn't. I mean,
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, why was Nick Khan in there to begin with?
I don't think Nick Khan was cutting wrestlers. I think Nick Khan was looking at salaries. I don't think Nick Khan has a shit clue idea about what's a good wrestler and how to get a bad wrestler.
So he's like, oh, they don't deserve that salary.
But a name goes along with the salary,
Yeah.
so I mean, he would know.
When
who
they
it
brought
was,
back-
like,
when
we're
they
getting rid of
brought
this
back
much
Cody,
money.
When they brought back Cody,
We're not getting anywhere here. Look,
when they brought back Cody, the company was no longer for sale.
We can agree on this. We like where it's
Right.
headed,
right
right,
in the executive board,
Jeremy?
they care about Cody.
Hey, well,
What?
I said this is what we all agree on.
Yeah,
we
they care
agree
about the
that
guys
we
that
like.
would sell
Cody
it.
Jackson.
Get with Cody.
We
It's better
agree
than
where we agree that
When
it's
this
headed.
company sells, I'm spiking this article on your fucking heads.
What
Just
about
you know,
when
all
it doesn't?
three of you on your fucking heads.
What
On
about
your fucking heads.
So does that mean we get to replay it when
Sure.
it doesn't?
I mean,
Yeah,
how are we going to do
that's
that? Because this weapon never
That's
gets
my
sold.
point.
Send it to me every day until
In,
it
in
sells.
20 years, when the company sells,
He's
it's been
gonna be
20
like, I
years when
told
the
you
company
guys.
sells, Hagan's going to repost this episode.
I
I told you.
It may have took 25 years, but by God, I was right.
He's just salty because he's 0-1 in the cat.
Hey, y'all come and see me
Wrap
in the
this up.
wheelchair. Y'all come and see me in the wheelchair.
Wrap this up. Wrap
But-
this up.
We all agree that we like where this is headed creatively, though. I mean, because we really like HB.
We're not trying to talk about creative.
And I'm just
You
saying
two had
that-
to give each other a big hug.
That's why we.
So whatever.
Well, I'm saying you just skipped
they-
over
they
what I'm
did-
saying. I didn't talk
You
the
did.
whole time. but
You did.
guys were
You
arguing.
did tell them all to. You did tell them all to stop talking for a second, and me too. So
Yeah.
in their defense,
Yeah.
they
I'm
have.
trying to talk
It
about
doesn't-
changing
Now-
NXT to WWE.
Now that we let's just put wrestling to bed. We agree to disagree on the ownership, selling, whatever. Creative is what we want. I believe that you've got something else to talk about, also, right?
Yeah, that's what I'd love to talk about right now.
Well, I'm sorry.
Let's do it.
Guess what? You got to.
Yeah,
so.
you got to.
Shut up, Ryan. Anyway,
You gotta do it. I don't care how. Listen, he's an ornery and aggravating little fucker, but you gotta still do it.
I wonder if we've dropped enough F-bombs to not make YouTube at this point.
What really matters is he is only 0-1. He could have been 0-2 today. So.
All right, look, here's the deal. We're going to wrap this up. Then I have a special announcement for Dipshit and the button down over there. And we're going to. And we're going to. Do not. But no. Matt,
we
stop
have
it.
practices and
Matt,
standards on YouTube.
Matt.
that we gotta.
I'm
Matt.
not gonna blur some stuff. God.
No nipple A. Just my kids know
Anyway.
too.
All right. As he unbuttons his shirt.
That's
for
for
some
my
reason.
kids.
All right.
Here we
Look,
go.
Guts for my kids. Go My Team podcast, brought to you by Broken Barrel Whiskey. Heaven Hill, something or another is the bourbon of the month. We drank it and rated it. If you give a shit about rewind 3 hours. Look, no, so we actually do have a special announcement. Ryan, your birthday is when?
The 29th.
The 29th of August.
Yep.
Yeah.
this
All right.
month. Few weeks.
Matt and I would like to announce happy birthday to you. We decided to go halvesies and welcome to the Owensboro Bourbon Society.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate that. That's cool.
So Ryan will be joining us
That's really
this
cool.
Wednesday for the somebody talking about something. I don't know, Matt.
Somebody from Heaven Hill, actually.
Oh, it's
At-
Heaven
at-
Hill.
at-
Okay.
At Green River Distillery.
At Green River Distillery.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
is
That's
it
really
Heaven-
cool.
Is it Heaven Hill or Makers?
It was supposed to be Makers, but I think it switched to Heaven Hill.
Okay.
At least that's what he's being.
So the master distiller from Heaven Hill will be in attendance. Will be there. So,
Cool.
I
I really appreciate that. That-
I
that's
talked
cool.
to your wife today. You have no plans, so it's funny, Matt. I have to tell you this. I call well, first I call you and I said send me Sarah's number, and then I call Sarah and I'm like, hey, I got a secret for Ryan. Are you around him? And she goes, yeah, here he is, and hands the phone to Ryan. I had a completely
I was in the
fabricated
other
reason.
room. I was in the
like-
other room.
And then I text her and I was like, that is literally the exact opposite of what I wanted you to do. And she's like,
That's crazy.
And I said, Sarah, call me not around Ryan. And so I was like, do you have plans for Wednesday? She's like, oh shit, my bad. And so she literally, I said, hey, are you around Ryan? I have a secret for him. She goes, yeah, no problem. And hands the phone.
In her defense, she's really pretty, and she was doing homework for school. So she probably wasn't even
I
listening.
don't even remember what I said to Ryan.
He said, I've tried to call you 3 times. Like, my phone's literally in my hand. I'm watching YouTube. What's up?
Yeah, anyway, so Ryan,
Thanks,
welcome
guys.
to the Owensboro Bourbon Society. So we'll be doing that Wednesday. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about. Next episode coming to you in a couple weeks. Special.
Matt'll be gone.
Matt won't be here. We hope Parker joins us.
Parker will still be here.
Stephen A. Turner from 1027 The Game, ESPN Radio here in Owensboro will join us for the high school football preview show.
For our area.
So
for everybody
we do
watching.
realize that that's kind of a local deal. I enjoy it. I'm a big high school football nerd, not just in the area, but across the country. But we'll talk a little local high school football with Stephen A. And we will preview the season and whatnot. And
Can
then,
we talk about the decathlon before we?
Yeah.
get
No,
off?
I was getting into
Okay.
that. So, go my team decathlon. We shot it today. Event number 1 was Cornhole. Ryan won that event 2-0 on the best of 3. So he's up 1-0.
Wasn't even close.
It wasn't. I had a bad showing. The next events in some order, of which will happen at some point, swimming, softball, home run derby, horse, basketball, punt, pass, kick, football, the Wonderlick exam,
Which may be Hagan's only win.
but no.
40-yard dash.
40-yard dash,
Golf.
golf, poker, and pool. Will be poker and pool sort of the bar games.
And
at the end.
these are going to go throughout the year. Poker and pool will be during the winter when we can't get out and do anything else. So, I mean,
Right. So like punt, pass, kick, and Wonderlick.
Wonder Lake can be done in the fall,
Yeah.
fall or the
So
winter.
we'll sort
Punt,
of
pass, kick can be
aim
done.
the games that have to be done in good weather. We'll get swimming in before I close my pool. Sort of stuff like that. We'll get golf in before the course is closed. So it'll be 9-1 at the end. I lost today for the only time I lose the whole competition.
Really? Hey, and Hagan says he's 7-3. He said there's no reason that he shouldn't win 7. So
I mean, 7's
he
kind
said
of
that
my number.
privately, but I'm gonna put it out here.
7. Well, I mean, I think 7's a fair number. You were a better baseball player than I was, so you're
I was a
probably
better football player and I never played. I was a better
You'll
basketball
be-
player. And I
you'll
played
win
my whole life. I was
you'll
always
be-
faster than you. Just beat you in cornhole.
You'll win
I'm by far a better
home run
golfer.
derby.
Oh yeah, like,
You'll win
it's
the
gonna
home
be
run
bad.
derby, and you do mortgages for a living. So hopefully you win the Wonderlick.
I just got-
Besides that, that's about
I
it.
got one question. If we get to a point to where somebody's like 6 and the other person's none, do we just keep going, or do we?
Oh, so he's saying he's expecting me to be starting out 6-0. How does that make you feel, Hagan?
Or if it's 6-1, do we keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we finish it out. Ryan, what do you? I mean, I feel like we finish it out. No.
Just for the sake of the argument of bragging right there.
I mean, say if someone gets majority, I don't see a point of finishing.
No, you're so wrong. We are definitely.
Unless you just want to say, "Hey, I'm better than you at this."
Yeah,
I'm
like,
fine with that. I was just asking.
Okay.
I'm
when
fine
it
with either
ends
one,
up being
but I'm-
8-2 in my favor, and
I was quite entertained by today. I mean, just
it's-
not like the result, but just the overall thing.
I'm gonna be. I would say I feel bad, but
Anyway,
destroy him.
Go My Team Podcast, episode 23.
We're
Hagan
definitely
Hill, Quality
finishing
House,
this.
Old Style Bourbon of the Month. Hagan here with Matt, Ryan, and Parker. If you made it to this point in the podcast, congratulations.
Sorry.
You deserve a medal.
Thank you.
Elmo
If you
said
read-
bye-bye. Elmo said bye-bye.